Capitulo 938, Chapter 715. The little surprise Yan army prepared for him /4. Nightfall. At the peak of the towering Zhang Mountain, Commander Yan Huang's eyes were filled with fervent light. An insider report from over there. Su Lin's specific action plan has been unveiled. The troops will depart from Jiantai by night, launching a two-line assault, deploying the circulation array, aiming to decisively annihilate the 100,000 forward troops. The 100,000 forward troops are right in the valley ahead. Yan Huang did not alarm them. The so-called fishing for big fish requires tasty bait, and the 100,000 forward troops are the bait in his hands. Su Lin Zulong, don't you want to swallow up my forward troops? I let you swallow. And I, at this very opportunity, can stand outside the array, disrupt the array, counterkill those who set up the array, determining the fate of two countries with one battle. Your life, Su Lin, is a grand gift I present to His Majesty the King, the eternal foundation of high offices. All rests on tonight. Midnight is approaching. Heaven and earth are in great silence. Yan Huang's eagle eyes firmly locked onto the pitch-black night sky above the forward troops. According to the insider report, midnight is when the total attack begins, and this moment is rapidly approaching with each passing second. Yan Huang turned his gaze towards Master Jinyu beside him. Master, you are the most crucial tonight. Are you ready? Ready? The master's eyes lifted, and in them there was a dense killing intent and a faint disdain. Strive to disrupt the opponent's array path while forcing out their array base for the central army to hunt, Yan Huang said. This is their plan. Although the forward troops are merely bait, 100,000 troops can't truly be scattered in total chaos by a single array. Therefore, as the opponent initiates the great array, Master Jinyu will release the chaos worm, disrupting the opponent's array path. Once the array path is disrupted, the array base may emerge, and with the central army poised and ready to strike with a thunderous force, they will seize the array base. In this way, the opponent is bound to suffer a crushing defeat. Su Lin is destined to expose himself, and the ready-to-strike Master Jiffin will launch a deadly blow, clearing Su Lin and the Great Wilderness Border Army commander beside him all at once. Can the Great Wilderness Army stand undefeated? Strike while the iron is hot. If all goes well tonight, Jiantai shall be captured. No problem, said the master. You will soon see all the array bases. Yan Huang was thrilled. Master, can you force out all the array bases? Watch. Master Jinyu suddenly lifted his finger. As his finger lifted, a green light shot out from his palm directly towards the sky. With a light buzzing sound, the world suddenly became enveloped in a pale green mist, shrouding the entire central army. At the end of the green mist, the pitch-black sky suddenly stripped of darkness, with more than 100 warships covering the whole sky. Yan Huang could indeed see the warships serving as the array base. But things were so abnormal. Because this great array was not enveloping the forward troops, but the central army. Yan Huang shouted, the information was wrong. Hiss! An extremely sharp sword light carrying unparalleled killing intent suddenly arrived at the center of his forehead. This sword was utterly abrupt. This sword transcended time and space. Although Yan Huang was an enlightenment-level master and part of the Desert Wolf clan, with a body of incredible strength and rapid reflexes, he had no chance to react against this unexpected sword. Poof! His forehead was pierced. His primordial spirit suddenly flew up, crashing into the sword Dao's aftermath, which was a chaotic space ripple. Once the primordial spirit collided, it shattered in an instant. In the last moment of the primordial spirit's demise, it was filled with surprise. Because the sword light came from Master Jinyu beside him. And the one who decapitated him with a single sword, his face changed from a horribly ugly old visage to a handsome and graceful young man. His figure suddenly grew taller by a foot. His clothes were no longer blue, but the white Marquis's clothes. Marquis Zui. Su Lin. He was not Jinyu, he was Su Lin. These were Yan Huang's final thoughts. Capitulo 939, Chapter 716, Buddha. And the dozens of guards around him only reacted at this moment, simultaneously drawing their weapons and launching a fierce attack. During the attack, Lin Zaiasu was still beside the flag, and as the assault unfolded, his figure suddenly vanished. Hiss! Time seemed to stop. A streak of sword light swept under the flag, and the heads of dozens of guards flew simultaneously. Silently, Lin Zaiasu's longsword reached Master Jiffin's brow at the speed of flowing light. Around Master Jiffin, the scene was like misty rain Jiangnan. Time break transformed into the empty mist technique, vaguely carrying the space sword Tao of Kangyuan Liu, completely sealing Jiffin's body. Amitabha, Jiffin uttered a Buddhist honorific. With the utterance, the misty rain Jiangnan around him stepped into late autumn in an instant. The tip of Lin Zayasu's sword seemed to be about to pierce Jiffin's brow. Suddenly, a snow-white lotus blossomed from the brow, and as the sword tip touched this snow-white lotus, it shattered into powder with a crack. Lin Zayasu seemed stunned. His time break could sever time, but could not cut down a delicate lotus. Su Lin, heaven has ways you won't go, hell has no gates you enter on your own, Amitabha. As the last 4 words were spoken, Jiffin's body radiated brightly like an ancient Buddha, truly unleashing the great power of the pinnacle of the first realm of Tao. Lin Zayasu was startled, his feet moved suddenly, and a black and white double lotus emerged. Yin-yang step. After the yin-yang step, the light of the circulation array descended from the sky. With just a moment's time, he could escape. Once he evaded into the circulation array, the barrier of the array would make it nearly impossible for anyone to kill him. However, the lotus on Jiffin's brow suddenly spewed a bodhi. As the bodhi exploded, a Buddha shadow appeared before Lin Zayasu. To him, it was like the heavenly Buddha. Its face was compassionate, yet the Buddhist might was overwhelming. In that instant, his primordial spirit was sealed on the spot, unable to move an inch. Without movement of the primordial spirit, the yin-yang step he had condensed abruptly ceased. He could have left this place in a single thought, but now he couldn't move at all. Hiss! The green light transformed into a sword. It descended from the sky, striking Lin Zayasu's forehead. Boom! The entire body of Lin Zayasu simultaneously felt a sense of annihilation. Cellular annihilation, primordial spirit annihilation, irresistibly, inexorably. This sense of annihilation swept away, passing him, passing the army behind him. Lin Zayasu died. And the army behind him, too, perished. Amitabha, such a pity, Jiffin clasped his hands together. This Buddha will was incredibly formidable, even capable of easily slaying the second vessel. If Su Lin were aboard the great wilderness flagship, under this will, everyone on board would be wiped out. Yet it was unfortunate that this child had disguised himself to infiltrate the Yan army's camp. In killing him, the implicated only were the Yan army, not the heads of the desolate army. That was Jiffin's pity in this. However, amidst a sigh, he lifted his gaze and was astonished. Why is the array still operating? Wasn't the array initiated by Su Lin? Su Lin activated the array within the commander mansion. He saw it with his own eyes, and naturally devised a strategy to break the array, killing the array master. The array should have broken. That was why he immediately used the Buddha will as his trump card. Because besides killing Su Lin, he also aimed to end the unexpected appearance of the circulation array above his head. Killing Su Lin was smooth. But after killing Su Lin, the array was still operating, causing great trouble. He had to quickly find the chaos worm on Su Lin's body, disguised as Master Jai Nu. Jai Nu had clearly been killed by him, and he knew Jai Nu had the chaos worm. How could he resist stealing? Jiffin took a step towards Lin Zayasu's corpse. His gaze fell, and Jiffin's heart skipped a beat. The corpse on the ground no longer displayed the characteristics of Marquis Zui, but was unmistakably Jai Nu's corpse. What does this mean? In any case, this Buddhist great power deeply cultivated was a bit bewildered at this moment. Suddenly, a long laugh echoed from the sky. Master Jiffin, could there be a second share of your Buddha will? Jiffin looked up sharply. In the sky, a young man in a snow robe stood outside the shrinking circle of green light. Handsome and with a vibrant demeanor, wasn't this clearly the image he had seen many times? Wasn't it clearly Marquis Zui Su Lin? Doesn't it feel strange? This Marquis was erased by your Buddha will, yet why am I appearing again? Lin Zayasu said, let me honestly tell you, it's a divine splitting technique. I sent you a primordial spirit and divinity to kill, just to force out your trump card. Divine splitting technique, Jiffin shouted. I must admit your Buddha will is indeed formidable, Lin Zayasu said, but you must also admit now you have nowhere to go. Amitabha, Jiffin clasped his hands. The Buddhist path is vast. When there's nowhere to go, the flesh can transcend. His entire body suddenly transformed to pure gold on his golden head. The lotus flickered, exceptionally strange. This is the Buddha golden body. Cultivated to the ultimate, the heavenly Tao cannot harm, the 9 netherworld cannot invade. Jiffin rose into the void, passing through the circulation array light. The circulation array circle that destroys all living beings, like the heavenly sword, repeatedly shaved away his Buddha golden body. Yet the Buddha light continuously replenished, rewriting the rules that the first realm of Tao cannot exit the circle with supreme Buddhist power. He broke through the circle. Capitulo 940, Chapter 716, Buddha Will Part 2. However, when he exited his circle, he saw Lin Zaya-Asu standing 100 meters tall, with an ancient peak behind him. On top of the peak, a figure resembling Lin Zaya-Asu's Dharma form turned around. Earlier, my avatar must have given you an illusion, making you think that with true skill, I couldn't defeat you. Amitabha. The fourth syllable had not yet exited when a palm descended from the heavens, boom, heavily striking Jiffin's bald head. Jiffin retreated 100 meters away. His head was no longer pure golden, but mottled with blue and purple. Thud! A massive fist descended from the sky, striking the head once more. This punch was twice as fierce as the previous palm strike. Jiffin plummeted straight into the abyss. Even his primordial spirit trembled. He finally realized that he had indeed made a major mistake earlier. Facing Lin Zaya-Asu, he easily blocked Lin Zaya-Asu's sword edge, pushed him back with a raise of a hand, making himself believe that in terms of cultivation alone, he could surely defeat Lin Zaya-Asu. However, he was wrong. What he faced then was merely Lin Zaya-Asu's avatar. This avatar was from a beast master, its combat power far inferior to Lin Zaya-Asu's true body. With the true body now appearing, merely using ancient divine magic's fists and feet, 3 punches and 2 kicks left him scurrying away in panic. Boom! A punch suddenly came from behind. This punch's power increased twofold again. Jiffin's head exploded on the spot. His primordial spirit was swept into an ancient tempest, vanishing without a trace. Lin Zaya-Asu ascended into the void, stretched out his hand, and from Master Jinyu in the circulation array below, a bronze ancient box soared through the air, falling into his inner space. This bronze box contains an ancient divine insect, Chaos Worm. This insect was meant for his circulation array. Evidently, it wasn't used this time, but he wouldn't miss such a strange insect, keeping it. Below the circulation array, Master Jiffin was the only one who escaped. Others did not have this ability. The great array surrounded the entire central army of 150,000 countless fierce beasts, all disintegrated into chaos particles, with resources, weapons, and battle armor perfectly preserved. The soldiers on the 108 warships in the sky exchanged glances across the distant space. Though they were battle-hardened, rarely had they experienced anything like this. In the battlefield, there was no flesh flying nor life-and-death struggles, just a great array descending silently and waiting for the enemy to perish here. The front army was already alarmed. Ready to launch an attack, the great wilderness army strike arrived first. General Zulong led the army in a frontal assault, while Quang Lang, responsible for setting up arrays, led the troops in a backward ambush. Hu Jai launched from the air. She held 8 strands of green silk, and where they landed, mounts appeared, in an instant enveloping 100,000 frontline troops. Lin Zaya-Asu maintained his 100-meter-tall body, striding into the rear army. The 50,000 rear army faced this formidable Dharma form, their hearts in chaos. Heaven bears witness, they were valiant, engaging head-on, yet Lin Zaya-Asu took step after step, casually flattening mountains and filling valleys. This is why those holding the way do not participate in conventional warfare. Those holding the way or using such methods overturn all rules on the battlefield. Under his hand, 50,000 troops were almost completely cleared within a quarter of an hour. Ahead lay the border town of Dragon City from Yan country. Countless soldiers watched this giant, standing 100 meters, stepping through the void, faces turning pale. Ancient divine magic appearance, equivalent to holding the way. Someone in the city cried out, "Everyone above Enlightenment realm, meet the enemy." Roar! Hundreds of body enlightenment, enlightenment of God, and enlightenment rules masters all rose into the void. Upon rising, 1,000 feet Dharma forms filled Dragon City's sky. However, the human figure suddenly turned around on the ancient peak behind Lin Zaya-Asu. With this turn, a miraculous oppressive force seemed to press down from the 9 heavens. Everyone's Dharma form shattered. With his solitary power, he crushed the Dharma forms of hundreds of Enlightenment realm experts, leaving them dangling like flies on a spiderweb, suspended in the sky, unable to move. As Lin Zaiasu stepped over, every silhouette exploded into blood mist. In an instant, Dragon City's entire enlightenment realm was cleared. Lin Zaiasu descended into the City Lord mansion. With his right hand extended, the tall City Lord rose from the ground, like a small chick in his palm. Hear me, everyone in Dragon City. Dragon City has always been part of the Great Wilderness territory. Today, as Marquis, I reclaim it as ancestral land. Those who wish to belong to the Great Wilderness from now on are citizens of the Great Wilderness. Those who do not wish are to leave Lee City of their own accord by dawn. There will be no choice left at that time. Those in Dragon City, loyal to Yan country, will be killed without mercy. Puff. The Dragon City's Lord's body was crushed to pulp. By now dawn was breaking. The frontline battles were still in full fervor, but the outcome was long sealed. Even though Yan country's blood-fire army of 100,000 were fierce, they faced immense pressure from the encircling two armies, moreover facing top-class elites' direct assault. Hu Jai was holding the way, integrating yin-yang law into the true vessel. Her combat power could match second vessel, how terrifying to ordinary armies. As the eight-tailed earth fox, her 8 spiritual tails transformed into myriad forms, implementing devastating strikes on the forces from above. After several rounds of attacks, the Yan army hardly resembled an army anymore. The array was broken, morale totally collapsed. Quang Lang transformed to a 10-meter form, utilizing Earth Clan's secret technique, Blood Swamp. Stepping through the battlefield, countless warriors enveloped within this swamp, while her waving flag easily claimed hundreds of lives. Capitulo 941, Chapter 716, Buddha will /3. With a void strike of the great flag in her hand, the colossal military flag of the Blood-Fire Army's vanguard tore apart inch by inch, and the vanguard generals under the flag were all swept into the blood swamp. The road ahead was already clear. Swoosh! A shadow swept across the left side of the forest, appearing before her like a myriad of transformations. It was Zhang Tao, the old partner in heading south. "Lord Zhang, where is the Marquis?" Quang Lang asked. "The Marquis has already set off for Dragon City, don't worry. That celestial-like cousin has gone too," Zhang Tao replied. A celestial-like cousin. This was Zhang Tao's way of referring to Hu Jai. Because he wasn't sure who this beauty was and dared not ask, he only heard Qing Ying call her cousin, so he called her cousin too. Dragon City, Quang Lang was anxious. "We should go too." Dragon City was unmistakably the enemy's border town, serving as the rear base of the Blood-Fire Army with 30,000 troops stationed. Not so easy to break into. Neither of them cared about wrapping up the battlefield and quickly crossed 300 miles of mountains. Ahead was Dragon City. There were no signs of battle in Dragon City. Did he not enter the city? But soon she noticed something amiss. There were no soldiers atop the city wall, but rather 2 beautiful women. It was Hu Jai and Qing Ying. With a whoosh, Quang Lang descended from the sky, landing before Hu Jai and Qing Ying. "What's the situation?" Qing Ying's gaze was somewhat complex. "That depends on what the general is asking about. If it's about the enemy situation, the Marquis alone hunted down all within the city above the Enlightenment realm, and the soldiers have fled. If it's about the Marquis, he's in that room." Quang Lang and Zhang Tao glanced in that direction and saw Lin Zaiasu sitting at the table, holding a pen. Zhang Tao's eyes flickered, writing poetry. Poetry? Quang Lang's eyes flickered. Hu Jai and Qing Ying were also somewhat excited. Yesterday the Kaiyan-Du sect was destroyed, and today the border town has been pacified. As a talented poet of our generation, leaving a poem seems reasonable. Zhang Tao said, "I'll report back to General Zulong and have him send troops to take over Dragon City." The voice fell and his shadow disappeared. In the starlit night, he returned to dispatch troops to take over Dragon City. Qing Ying's heart skipped slightly. "General Quang Lang, is this a territorial expansion?" Quang Lang's gaze moved toward her, and in both of their eyes there was a dreamy color. She knew what Qing Ying meant. The meaning was indeed wild. According to the Great Wilderness's ancestral system, territory expansion could lead to kingship. For hundreds of years, Yan country and Dahuang country's frontier battles were all fought over Zhayantai as the boundary, leading to generation after generation of fighting. Today, facing Yan country's strongest legion, the Blood-Fire Army, they were entirely defeated in one battle, directly pushing the frontier line northward by 300 miles. It was undeniably a true determining battle, indisputably a territorial expansion. He was already a marquis. Was there really hope for kingship next? Quang Lang, a voice came from the small house ahead from Lin Ziasu. Quang Lang took a step forward, arriving before the small house, pushed open the door. Come in, close the door, Lin Ziasu said. Quang Lang's heart skipped a bit. The person before him wasn't just a superior, he was also her only man. In the past, when heading south, whenever he summoned her to go out alone with him, it was to handle that thing, inspect enemy conditions, which was essentially a euphemism for that thing. Yesterday he told her by sound transmission, once the northern country's conflict was settled, he and she would retreat to a mountain cave. Now that the conflict was settled, he had summoned her alone again and even closed the door. She didn't resist that thing at all, she even dreamed of doing it. But just after such a battle, she hadn't even had a bath, and outside there were still two beauties, one of whom was a master of holding the way. The northern country's conflict is temporarily settled, I also must leave, Lin Ziasu said. I want to leave you something. Quang Lang blushed. Leaving something behind, how direct. Lin Ziasu raised his hand, handing her a small package. 2 sets of the all-heaven killing array, in case you encounter strong enemies, don't be polite. Quang Lang was deeply shocked. Leaving something behind turned out not to be leaving some water beneath her, but giving her 2 sets of the all-heaven killing array. Judging by your expression, you probably misunderstood. Lin Ziasu extended his hand, holding her by the waist. However, even if that's off the mark, it's not far from it. Besides arrays, I indeed need to leave you something else. Quang Lang was very nervous. Here. Can't do it here, there's a bed over there. Marquis, maybe we should retreat to mountain cave again. Quang Lang was very shy, wanting to refuse, but she couldn't bear to. Retreating to mountain caves is addictive now. No, the fairy accompanying you is outside. Quang Lang was extremely shy. Not anymore, that girl ran. Lin Ziasu said, come. Time passed bit by bit, the eastern sun rose over the mountain peaks, and another morning came. Finally, the door opened. Quang Lang, wearing a mask and armor, walked out of the room. It looked normal, but as she passed by Qing Ying's sharp eyes caught the bright blush on her neck. Lin Ziasu, dressed casually, walked out of the room feeling refreshed and approached Qing Ying. Where's the cousin? Qing Ying lowered her head, not daring to look at him, responded. When General Quang Lang entered the room, cousin suddenly flew into the forest over there. I asked her if there was an enemy, she said no, just going into seclusion. Lin Ziasu glanced at the forest over there, his expression suddenly changed. The next instant his shadow vanished. He entered that patch of forest. Pursuing the route Hu Jai had flown, he arrived at a cliff, halfway up which was a cave. Outside of the cave, there was a small white rabbit. It was the rabbit she carried with her. Lin Ziasu stepped to the cave's edge. The small white rabbit glanced at him, then looked up at the rising sun. Lin Ziasu stared into its eyes. Under the heavenly Tao wisdom eye, he clearly saw these blood-red eyes had some mysterious connection with the rising sun, seeming to blend in some mystical convergence. Dai Ting was quite unusual indeed. It was borrowing the sun to expel the demonic qi within. This profound mystery didn't capture much of his attention right now, because he knew that something expected yet unexpected had occurred. Hu Jai's aura had changed. No surprise, the 9 tails were born. He stepped into the cave. The cave was narrow outside but wide inside, indeed a hidden world within. But no matter how wide this cave was, it was filled to the brim with tails at the moment. Yes, the snow-white fox tails filled the cave. 1, 2, 3, 9. The 9th tail was slightly small, standing upright before Hu Jai, who was staring at this tail, her mind seemingly drifting beyond the heavens. Success, Lin Ziasu came to her front. Hu Jai's mystical eyes slowly shifted to him. Yes, in this generation's Kinkyu, a miracle was recreated, the ancestral wish fulfilled by Fu Fu and me. Congratulations, Lin Ziasu smiled. Hu Jai slowly stood up. As she did so, the 9 tails all slipped under her skirt, disappearing into invisibility. She once again transformed from a 9-tailed fox into a fairy. Is the northern country's conflict over? Hu Jai said. Take a look. Lin Ziasu lightly brushed his hand, sweeping away the mist outside the cave with a single palm, revealing countless warships arrayed over Dragon City. The Blood Dragon army had arrived. Capítulo 942, Chapter 717, entering the heavenly fox secret realm again. Hu Jai lightly exhaled. From now on, the border between the two countries will be along the front Clearwater River. 1,000 years ago, this was originally the Great Wilderness Territory, but it was occupied by Yan country. Reclaiming Dragon City today is not aggression, it's merely the recovery of our ancestral lands. Hu Jai smiled. Whether it's your majesty or the court officials, the greatest hope seems to be defending Jayantai, rather than having thoughts of recovering lost lands. What are you thinking with this big step you've taken today? What thoughts could I have? It's merely convenience. Not necessarily, Hu Jai said. Expanding territory and creating new borders could grant you the title of prince, which is the ancestral custom of the great wilderness. Are you, Marquis, perhaps thinking of becoming a prince? You, Lin Zaiasu shook his head gently. Do you really think I have a chance to be granted the title of prince under this emperor? Hu Jai's expression became serene. Isn't there a chance? Absolutely not. You've rapidly advanced in the political field, rising from a commoner to marquis in just half a year's time. I think, at this rate, becoming a prince is only a matter of time. Why do you think there's no chance? Hu Jai said. Lin Zaiasu replied. Marquis and prince appear to be just 2 steps apart, but in reality, their significance is vastly different. Is the difference that big? It is. At least in His Majesty's mind, the meaning is completely different. A marquis can be a result of favor, but a prince is akin to cultivating an opposing force. As he explained, Hu Jai slowly understood. In history, there are countless instances of princes rebelling, but have you ever seen a marquis rebel? Not to say there haven't been any, but at least they are extremely rare. It's simply because the weight of a marquis is inadequate, whereas a prince, the weight is sufficient. This emperor can continue to favor this meritorious official without being threatened, but would never willingly create a rival out of nowhere. In fact, when a meritorious official reaches the point of having no further titles to grant, this official becomes a significant headache for the emperor. Not granting titles defies ancestral customs. The public reputation suffers. Granting titles is merely creating trouble for oneself. Hu Jai lightly exhaled. So what will you do next? Rush to the other 3 battlefields and finish off the 4 country wars at once, then withdraw from the court. There are no other 3 country wars, Lin Zaiasu said. None. With the northern country battle so smoothly executed and the results so astonishing, would His Majesty not count on you to pacify the rest of the third realm? Lin Zaiasu laughed. With the success of the northern country battle, the other 3 countries will naturally retreat. Really? Hu Jai blinked her eyes. Just wait and see. So how do we proceed from here? Hu Jai asked. First return to Beijing, meet with the 7th prince, and then it's my journey in Jianghu. Are we leaving now? Now, Lin Zaiasu stepped out of the cave, raised his hand, and hugged the heavenly Tao version of Dai Ting, landing upon Dragon City's walls. Half an hour later, bidding farewell to General Zulong, Zhang Tao, with a glance to Quang Lang, returned to Beijing with Hu Jai and Qing Ying. They returned to Beijing from the north, leisurely. Information had already been transmitted through various channels to Dahuang City, as well as Yi Country, Chu Country, and Kaiyuan Country. The Emperor of the Great Wilderness received urgent reports from the border and suddenly stood up from the dragon throne, his hair flying in the wind. This hair, once mostly white, had now turned entirely black. His face, surprisingly, had a rare flush. During these days, reports of battles came daily. Also reports of astonishing victories. However, today's report was, Marquis Zui entered Jayantai, using circulation array to obliterate Yan country's most elite blood fire army of 300,000, turning the enemy to ashes, advancing the front line by 300 miles, reclaiming the millennium-lost Dragon City. Not a matter of killing thousands or tens of thousands, but obliterating the enemy's elite troops. Not merely defending Jayantai for eternity, but advancing the front line, reclaiming millennium-lost land. Is this an ordinary military achievement? This is a battle of national fortune that demands heavy ink in the history books. Your Majesty, Lei Tianlun knelt, this is a feat that will be celebrated for generations, a glory that will be remembered through the ages. I, the old minister, congratulate your Majesty. Thud. Song Lifu said, I, the old minister, congratulate your Majesty. Thud. A large group of officials kneeled in unison, congratulating your Majesty. Compared to the Dahuang court, The other 3 courts appeared as if they'd seen a ghost. The Yi Kingdom monarch sat on the golden hall, the crown on his head lightly trembling. You say that Marquis Zui with just one array wiped out Yan country's 300,000 blood fire army, advanced 300 miles, reclaimed Dragon City. Exactly. The old minister has just received urgent reports from 3 places, all of which are consistent and undoubtedly accurate. The face of the minister of war below was extremely grave. In this old minister's view, our court should not confront them at this moment. It would be better to temporarily withdraw to Qing City, said the prime minister. Temporarily withdraw to Qing City. This statement, if uttered a quarter of an hour ago, would have been dismissed as weakness by the entire court. But upon being proposed now, the whole hall fell silent. You could seize this opportunity to advance into the Great Wilderness and take the land of the Great Wilderness East State, but consider the aftermath for Yan country. The Blood Fire Army, originally the strongest force amongst the 4 nations' invasions, once forced the Great Wilderness to the brink. Now under Marquis Zui, it was completely annihilated in just one battle, and 300 miles of territory were lost. Can Yi country withstand him? Do not draw this nemesis to Yi country's borders. Yi country cannot bear a 300-mile incursion. His Majesty the Emperor remained silent for a long time. How many years of planning? How many people's expectations? Dreams of expansion and conquest passed down through generations seemed poised to unfold, yet faced with such a war god. Capitulo 943, Chapter 717, Re-entering the Heavenly Fox Secret Realm, Part 2. Decree issued, the Yi Kingdom monarch stood up. Present. Order the Yi Kingdom's border army to temporarily halt military operations and withdraw to Qing City. The same goes for Chu country, temporarily halting military operations and withdrawing to Liao City. Meanwhile, in the central domain Kaiyuan country, military operations are temporarily halted, retreating to the home country. On the South Sea, 7th Prince Hong Yun stood on a giant ship, watching the massive fleet of the opposing side disappear into the vast sea, completely bewildered. Why retreat? Fu Feng stepped forward. I just received a message from the north. Last night, Marquis Zui achieved a great victory at the northern country's border. In one array, the Blood Fire Army Legion was annihilated, advancing 300 miles and recovering thousands of years of lost territory, Dragon City. Kaiyuan country should also have received this battle report. They are afraid. Haha, the 7th Prince laughed heartily, looking up to the sky. I told you our neighbor would eventually stir things up. Now the stir has finally come, and it's quite earth-shattering. Report to the prince, someone urgently reported. Just received military intelligence. The Chu country to the east and the Yi Kingdom to the west have both withdrawn their troops. This round of warfare seems to have ended. But Lin Zaiasu finally returned to Beijing. Upon arriving in Beijing, he was greeted by a contingent of yellow-robed servants at the return to the capital platform, with the words, "Your Majesty invites the Marquis to the palace," which made Qing Ying extremely excited. Cousin, when the Marquis returns, will he become a prince? The last 2 words turned into sound transmission. Hu Jai gently shook her head. Won't he? I think it's entirely possible. Expanding territory could lead to being made a prince. This is ancestral law, Qing Ying said. It's only a possibility, not a certainty, Hu Jai said. Let's go back to the Marquis mansion first. Let's talk about Lin Zaiasu entering the Golden Hall. Your Majesty personally stepped down from the dragon throne, walked across the long red carpet before him, and took Lin Zaiasu's hand, walking shoulder to shoulder through the officials' ranks. The officials, as usual, were liberal with their praise. After the usual procedures, the holy decree was issued. For eliminating the poison sect menace in Lanzhou, stabilizing the northern country's border, and recovering the lost territory of a millennium, Marquis Zui has rendered great merit to the court. He shall be richly rewarded with 1 million desert gold, and permitted to meet the monarch without kneeling. Lin Zaiasu kneeled to your Majesty one last time, then led a group of yellow-robed servants to deliver the 1 million desert gold back to the Marquis mansion. The yellow-robed servants returned to the palace, and the steward, looking at the piles of desert gold, was momentarily dumbfounded. Lin Zaiasu chuckled lightly. Steward, reward each person in the mansion with 100 desert gold. The steward was completely shocked. 100 pieces. Yes, there are only 79 people in the mansion, and even that amount comes to less than 10,000. How do I plan on spending this 1 million desert gold? It'll drive me mad with worry." He floated away as he spoke. The servants in the mansion exchanged glances, not knowing if they were still in the most beautiful dream they had ever had, unsure if they were truly awake. Desert gold is a valuable high-grade currency. The hard work of 1 month would generally earn only 1 or 2 pieces of desert gold, and today the Marquis gave 100 pieces as a reward, equivalent to the earnings of 10 years for a strong laborer. Entering the bedroom, Qing Ying lightly shook her head at the door. "Marquis, you're recklessly giving away rewards like this. Aren't you afraid you'll frighten them?" "You call this reckless? If I were truly reckless, I'd give each person 10,000 desert gold." Qing Ying said, "If you actually gave one person 10,000, the servants would all probably run off by tomorrow. Each one would become wealthy, and who wouldn't want to be their own master instead of serving others?" "Exactly, so that's my worry," Lin Ziasu said. "Hey, Qing Ying, why don't you help me spend some money?" Qing Ying giggled. Qing Ying wouldn't waste money. "How about you give this task to your cousin instead?" "Good idea. My cousin looks like someone who appreciates fine things, and I bet she's quite good at spending money." Lin Ziasu pushed open Hu Jai's room door. He gently closed it behind him. Hu Jai was at the windowsill sipping tea. Her gaze slowly lifted. As her gaze lifted, the sunlight outside seemed to shift color slightly as the yin-yang law formed a sealed circle. "Even though I've heard your analysis, seeing the million desert gold as a reward still disappoints me. This monarch is truly guarding against you," Hu Jai said. "Yes, money is definitely his true love. The fact that he is so freely giving his most beloved money shows that the great merit I earned for him is quite a headache." Lin Ziasu sat across from her, lifting an empty teacup, pouring himself a cup. "Your path in court politics is no longer viable," Hu Jai said. "Indeed, as I've said, once the 7th prince returns to the capital, I will meet with him, and then I'll have to venture into the Jianghu." "Why must you meet with this prince?" Hu Jai asked. "Because I am laying the groundwork to utilize the power of the Dahuang country in the future." Utilizing the power of the Dahuang country, what role can this prince play? Ultimately, it still comes down to the monarch. Lin Ziasu's gaze slowly lifted. "This monarch, what if this monarch doesn't have much time left?" Hu Jai was completely shocked. Lin Ziasu said, "My path on the court is currently blocked, but someday I can continue that path by installing a new monarch." "The 7th prince, is the 7th prince your choice for the next monarch?" "Yes. I've learned from Fu Feng about this prince. He doesn't seem to be the kind of person who would stop at nothing for the throne. The 7th prince's concubine is the current eldest sister of Kinkyu, though the outside world knows little. Hu Jai knows this." "If he were such a person, I wouldn't choose him either," Lin Ziasu said. Hu Jai frowned. "Then here's the issue. He's not that kind of person. How are you going to cooperate with him to eliminate the current monarch?" Lin Ziasu laughed. "What are you thinking? When did I ever say I wanted to eliminate the current monarch?" Hu Jai asked, "So are you saying this monarch is suffering from a severe illness, with his days numbered?" "It has nothing to do with illness but everything to do with the current political situation," Lin Ziasu said. 3 days ago, the monarch issued a holy decree imposing a ban on the Wandu sect. Imagine how should the Wandu sect respond. Capitulo 944, Chapter 717, Entering the Heavenly Fox Secret Realm Again /3. Hu Jai slowly raised her gaze, looking out the wind. "Your Majesty has issued a holy decree, declaring the Wandu sect as an evil sect. Within the borders of Dahuang country, all disciples of the Wandu sect are to be executed, and their families within 9 generations are forbidden from holding office in court. This is unbearable for any sect, especially for the Wandu sect, one of the 19 celestial beams. The higher the status, the more unbearable it is. This not only severs the roots of Wandu within the great wilderness, but also delivers a harsh slap to the sect in front of everyone in the world. Can the Wandu sect tolerate this? If it endures, other countries might follow suit. Therefore, it must deliver a heavy blow to the Dahuang country, to kill the chicken and scare the monkey, and to uphold the heavenly beam principles on the cultivation path. This has already gone beyond personal hatred, concerning the sect's grand strategy for the future. But how can the Wandu sect retaliate against the great wilderness dynasty? In fact, it has no way to retaliate. A massive military invasion of the great wilderness lacks justification, and most importantly, battles on the field are entirely different from those on the cultivation path. The sect itself might not be able to secure a victory on the battlefield against the iron cavalry of the great wilderness dynasty, and it would also provoke Princess Shansheng's heavenly Tao oath of that day, forcefully setting the heavenly capital as a formidable enemy. The possibility of the Wandu sect raising an army is extremely slim. However, for a poisoned sect, there are not only the means of raising an army. The most viable solution. Assassination, Hu Jai spoke her answer. Indeed, a top-tier sect that uses poison to cultivate is hard to defend against. So I predict that, at the earliest in 3 months, or at the latest in a year, this your majesty will encounter a great calamity. Hu Jai's gaze flickered. You didn't warn him. No need for a warning. As an emperor, he surely has foreseen this. If he indeed had such foresight, why did he issue the decree? Why choose the path of no return? Hu Jai asked. Lin Ziyasu laughed. I forced him. Hu Jai was stunned. Her brain started racing, vaguely catching on to some clues. Initially, your majesty had no deep-seated malice against the Wandu sect. At least the hatred between Wandu sect and him was not as deep as with the mental path. Why did he suddenly define the Wandu sect as an evil sect? An emperor doesn't act capriciously. There must be reasons that leave him with no choice. What are those reasons? The reason lies in that rumor. The rumor suggests that the calamity in Lanzhou was due to your majesty's lack of virtue, and details claim that your majesty seized his son's life for his own sake. This rumor originated from a private conversation between the saint heir of the Kaiyan sect and him, but he used a peculiar image capture method to broadcast it in front of everyone at Zhai Xing Tower. Once made public like this, your majesty and the rumor creator can only pursue this path to the end. Your majesty's decree to label the Wandu sect as an evil sect is based on this rumor. Only by labeling the rumor creator as an evil sect can the spread of such rumors be rooted out. Why? Because with the law on his side, can you trust anything said by an evil sect? Hu Jai murmured, this rumor holds a shocking key piece of information. Is it true or false? Are you referring to the law of cause and effect, reversing his son's life force? Yes. Lin Ziyasu calmly replied. If it were false, he wouldn't be so infuriated. Lies won't hurt people, truth will. Hu Jai exhaled long. Though walking the cultivation road expunges affection, a human tragedy of this magnitude still makes me feel that this person is worse than a beast. Therefore, not to believe him blindly, not to follow him blindly, and to respect all the causes and effects in his life should be our basic attitude towards this emperor. Hu Jai said, such taboo words you must not mention to anyone. I only shared them with you. Lin Ziyasu gently held her hand. Hu Jai leaned lightly into his embrace, gently holding his hand, which was its own form of an embrace. They had embraced once before, then it was Lin Ziyasu who initiated. Today, she was the one who initiated. Last time, too, was a deep conversation facing his past, and this time, similarly, was a deep talk facing his future. Coming and going, the direction was clear. He left nothing hidden before her. Hu Jai gently raised her face in his embrace. I have now become nine-tailed. Lin Ziyasu's heart slightly skipped, his gaze resting on her face, and then a faint blush appeared on Hu Jai's cheeks. The most essential part of the nine-tailed is still in the heavenly fox secret realm. Don't you want to go in again and explore? Lin Ziyasu's heartbeat immediately sped up. Heavenly fox secret realm sounds like a proper, grandiose term, but when combined with words like nine-tailed and Tianhu Palace Sand, it doesn't sound so decent anymore. Entering the heavenly fox secret realm requires breaking her virginity. Is it possible? Lin Ziyasu asked. Hu Jai's hand gently tightened, her face buried in his chest. Don't forget, we've long been spiritually connected. She finally admitted it. Spiritual connection is also a connection. Once already connected, why care about the connection of the flesh? Lin Ziyasu waved his hand gently, and the curtains fell. Hu Jai opened her eyes wide, 9 tails flying up simultaneously, transforming into dense, continuous barriers. Her clothes at this moment turned into clouds and flew up. 2 hours later, the Tianhu Palace Sand on Hu Jai's arm turned into a secret realm, where their primordial spirits met in the realm. Husband, you are probably the only one in history to enter the heavenly fox secret realm twice. Hu Jai's primordial spirit nestled in Lin Ziyasu's primordial spirit embrace, looking at him with a giggle. Of this, Lin Ziyasu said, there are 3 paths before us. Which one do you choose? Capitulo 945, Chapter 717, Re-entering the Heavenly Fox Secret Realm, Part 4. This time he can act as a guide because he has entered the same secret realm once before. That time Fu Fu brought him in. He's well familiar with the paths here. Hu Jai's half-joking words just now were also a true statement. Tianhu Palace sand is not some common cabbage. Over 1,000,000 years, the Kinkyu Fox clan has only seen some 300 individuals emerge with it, conceptually speaking once every 3,000 years. Who has the chance to encounter it? Who has the chance to obtain it? Who has the chance to obtain one and then another? The first two, of course, were encountered by some 300 lucky people. But as for the last one, throughout history, it might have been only Lin Xiaopao. 3 paths appeared before their primordial spirits. In the middle, power path. On the left, cultivation path. On the right, search path. I'm like Fu Fu, I choose the cultivation path, Hu Jai said. What about you? Which will you choose? I will choose the search path again, just like last time, Lin Xiaosu said. Last time I only chose a ray path. I missed a lot of beautiful sights, so I must make up for it this time. Well then, farewell, my lover. Hu Jai waved her hand gently. With a wave of her hand, she vanished upon the cultivation path. Lin Xiaosu once again stepped on the search path. Everything is the same as last time, except for the choices made. That day he chose array path. It laid the foundation for his basic understanding of the circulation array Tao, which gave him a basic framework to face the greatest crisis of that world, and indirectly allowed him to shape the Dezhou Heaven Small Killing Array. One could say it helped him greatly. This time is his second entry into the Heavenly Fox Secret Realm. And it is very likely to be the last time in his lifetime. Kinkyu no longer has possessors of Tianhu Palace sand, so he must choose carefully. The Tianhu ancestor followed the first human emperor in various expeditions, fighting from the wilderness to the 9 netherworld, having experienced countless adventures. After her time ended, those achievements became her legacy, all locked within the Heavenly Fox Secret Realm. Her search path is exceedingly rich, which part to choose. This time, Lin Xiaosu chose rules comprehension. Upon entering the doorway of rules comprehension, all the paths behind him vanished, signaling that he can no longer turn back. In front of him appeared 9 small doors with words on them. The first word, mist, inside the door is foggy, even the heavenly Tao wisdom I cannot see through it. The second word, power within the door, it's like the galaxy is hanging upside down, an awe-inspiring sight. The third word, transformation, Lin Xiaosu felt a sudden excitement as he has refined the 9 transformation beast, making him a legend in transformation technique in that world. But in this world, it's not considered a powerful skill, and yet the Tianhu ancestor was the progenitor of the path of transformation. However, as he looked at each word, his thinking gradually shifted. Further ahead are causality, reincarnation. These are laws, a tier higher than the previous rules. At the same time, they are very compatible with Lin Xiaosu as a peculiar being, whose very essence is about comprehending such laws. If aided by the ancestor, he could break through the law and pick a Tao fruit, immediately allowing him to hold the way. And it would be a true vessel with the law as the foundation. Should he choose one of these two? If it weren't for the sudden appearance of a word behind him, he would definitely choose between causality and reincarnation. But once a word appeared beside one of the doors behind, all choices ceased to be choices. He stepped through briskly, choosing the newly appeared small door, without even looking at what rules the 3 doors still held behind. Because this door engraved the word, sword. Sword Tao rules. Sword Tao rules are merely rules, not laws, rank-wise. They are below causality and reincarnation, yet they are indeed the true carriers of combat power. His Sword Tao rules had the earliest beginning, but were long mired in stagnation. Back when in Kun Kang, his Sword Tao rules had entered the Qinghua stage, being the first among all laws and rules to step into Qinghua, yet over such a long stretch, it still stuck at Qinghua, unable to break into the Tao fruit. Stepping into the Sword Tao within the search path, a peach blossom forest suddenly appeared before him. At first glance it seemed infinitely elegant, but upon closer inspection, Lin Xiaosu was deeply shaken. This peach forest was the sword world. Every tree, every flower, every blade of grass under the trees, every wave in the river beside the grass, all are swords. Who could have thought that the Tianhu ancestor was indeed a sword cultivator with a sword world? If she wasn't a profound and inscrutable sword cultivator herself, she could not ingrain such true sword Tao with great divine power into Tianhu Palace sand, passing it down through bloodline inheritance. Lin Zaiasu walked into this sword world, feeling the pervasive killing intent of sword Tao, feeling the omnipresent mystical mechanisms. He forgot time, forgot the way he came, forgot how to return, as if he were a lonely wanderer in the Jianghu, taking steps within this sword Tao world. Spring arrived and a second King Hua blossomed on his sword, then a third, the 30th, the 80th, and finally the 81st King Hua appeared on his sword. He seemed to glimpse the life and death of 81 King Hua of sword Tao. A gust of wind blew, 81 King Hua withered simultaneously at the tip of his sword. A crystal-clear Tao fruit emerged. Upon the emergence of the sword fruit, the entire peach forest swayed, gradually parting, and a small door appeared beyond the peach forest. Lin Zaiasu stepped out, consciousness returning to his physical body. Capitulo 946, Chapter 718, seems like an old friend. In front of the mirror, the second primordial spirit comprehending the space lost suddenly awoke, as if from a dream. The shared information between the two primordial spirits left Lin Zaiasu dumbfounded. For the first time in his life, he felt the difference in time. The primordial spirit that entered the heavenly fox secret realm seemed to have experienced many years, but in reality, only a mere 2 hours had passed. Hu Jai slowly opened her eyes. Lin Zaiasu was stunned. That day, Fu Fu entered the heavenly fox secret realm with him simultaneously, choosing the cultivation path. To this day, she remained in seclusion, meaning her consciousness had not yet returned. Yet Hu Jai awakened immediately. "Did you gain anything?" Lin Zaiasu asked. "The Tianhu ancestor left me a drop of ancestor blood," Hu Jai replied. "Ancestor blood, what happens if you absorb it?" "Once fully absorbed and refined, I should be able to reach the second obsession," she said. Lin Zaiasu was shocked. "Second obsession? Then, wouldn't you be able to contend with those who entered the Tao through the standard rule at the third obsession?" "Probably, I'll strive to truly break into the second obsession soon. By then, if anyone dares to oppose my husband, I'll help you beat them to death." Lin Zaiasu felt deeply moved. "My goodness, the third obsession is already the towering beams of this world. Did I unwittingly sleep with a towering beam on the cultivation path?" "Ah, you call that unwitting. You played for several hours trying all sorts of things," Hu Jai teased. "Husband, what about you? Did you gain anything?" "This time I chose the sword Tao. My sword Tao rules have already borne the Tao fruit." It was Hu Jai's turn to marvel. "The last time you opened a secret realm with Fu Fu, your circulation array Tao reached great success. This time opening one with me, your sword Tao also achieved great success. Husband, you're remarkable. You always seize the opportunity when it arises." A round of praise followed. Yet when Fu Fu and the number of secret realms opened were mentioned, Lin Zaiasu felt somewhat guilty. To make up for this guilt, he spent that night, with the utmost enthusiasm, nourishing Hu Jai's 3,000 years of solitude. The next morning, the red sun rose, and Hu Jai had already gotten up early. As Lin Zaiasu opened his eyes, her beautiful and flawless face, full of spring, approached his lips. Their lips gently touched and her soft voice came, "Husband, I must return." "All right. Absorbing and refining the ancestor blood might take me half a year. During that time, refrain from any major actions. After half a year, even if you wish to overturn the heavens, I'll be with you." "Wife, you're too good. I'm feeling a bit proud." Hu Jai chuckled. "You're not allowed to be proud now. Wait until half a year later." "All right." Hu Jai rose into the air, smiling sweetly at him. Then blending black and white together, she was gone. Lin Zaiasu's gaze shifted to the sky, where, far on the horizon, the intertwining black and white were barely visible, almost imperceptible. Her yin-yang law was approaching the realm of no trace. The realm of no trace marks the entry into the second realm with the law. She's gone back. Lin Zaiasu had no intention of entering the Jianghu right now either. He needed to wait for the seventh prince to return to the capital. During this idle time, he was also cultivating. His sword Tao rule had already borne the Tao fruit, and if he pursued the pure path of a sword cultivator, he could enter the realm now as he already met the prerequisites, picking the Tao fruit. Any rule that bears the Tao fruit can enter the realm. However, he didn't want to proceed this way. His realm must be the convergence of the 7 laws. Picking the Tao fruit of the sword Tao was just the first step. In the time that followed, both primordial spirits simultaneously pondered over the 7 laws, steadily advancing the process of picking the Tao fruit for all 7 laws. To others, this seemed like an interminable cultivation, but to him, it was a process with a predictable timeline. He roughly estimated that gathering all 7 laws, Tao fruits should take about a year. The Great Calamity is 2.5 years away. Time exists, opportunities exist, yet matters of this world are full of variables and impermanence. He does not yet know if the convergence of the 7 laws can alter that great calamity. After all, on the cultivation path, there's never been a convergence of the 7 laws. No precedent to follow. As for his opponent, he doesn't know what level they have reached either. This world has too many unknowns, too many sudden variables, like himself never factoring the Buddha from the spirit domain West Pole into his plans. Yet during the northern expedition, he encountered this Buddha's shocking influence. If that Buddha will had truly descended upon him, no matter how many primordial spirit-split bodies he had, it wouldn't be enough. All would be annihilated. The heavenly Tao is vast, the affairs of life are endless. Above people there are people, and outside laws there are laws. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days. Lin Zaiyasu focused entirely on comprehending the law, undistracted. Until the 6th night, Qing Ying appeared before him. Marquis, something has happened. What is it? The former crown prince, eldest Prince Hong Lai, died last night in the Jizhu territory. Lin Zaiyasu suddenly raised his head. What was the manner of death? A sudden plague, the whole Prince Jai mansion, nothing was spared. Qing Ying's face was solemn. I suspect this is a retaliatory move by the Wandu sect. No need to suspect, it definitely is, Lin Zaiyasu said. Qing Ying said, I don't quite understand why they would target a former crown prince who left the Eastern Palace years ago. Because this former crown prince was currently the most hopeful to occupy the Eastern Palace. Qing Ying slowly raised her gaze. The Eastern Palace, truly a palace of constant change and intrigue. 11 years ago, the current Prince Jai, eldest Prince Hong Lai, was the crown prince of the Eastern Palace. However, he lost the battle for succession to 3rd Prince Hong Ding, who became crown prince for 10 years, exploiting cause and effect mistake to seize the imperial chi from his father. Governing the country, his reputation was unmatched, almost akin to a de facto enthronement. Capítulo 947, Chapter 718, Seems Like an Old Friend, Part 2. At that time, Hong Lai dared not resent Hong Ding in the slightest. He flattered him like a dog, even giving his favorite concubine to this regent crown prince. The regent crown prince deliberately publicized this matter, and the ministers who originally had some expectations for Hong Lai all shook their heads and sighed when they heard about it, completely crushing Hong Lai's dreams of restoration. Later, Marquis Zui entered the court, and the first thing he did was to take down the regent crown prince. Hong Ding died in the heavenly prison, and once again the Eastern Palace was vacant. Thus a new order emerged. The second prince, King Lanning, became the highly acclaimed candidate. But 7 days ago, this King Lanning was killed by the Kaiyan-Du sect at Jiaxing Tower in Lanzhou. The situation reached this point, and the candidates for the Eastern Palace underwent yet another reshuffle. Leading the ranking was Prince Jai, Hong Lai, who had lived in the Eastern Palace and had been away for 11 years. And now this Prince Jai, who seemed to have some hope, succumbed to a plague last night. Where is the fundamental link in all this? Qing Ying slowly retracted her gaze. Lin Zaiyasu said, the change in princes, the root is all about the succession to the throne. They are about to make their move. They, Qing Ying asked, who are they? The Wandu sect or the mental path? At this stage in Dawang country, Wandu sect and mental path might as well be considered synonymous, as there are signs their goals align at this stage. Qing Ying asked, and who is their target? Lin Zaiyasu replied, naturally, it is those who would affect their choice of successor, the ones who would ascend smoothly. Qing Ying nodded gently. Prince Jai, Hong Lai, was clearly not one of them, otherwise, they wouldn't have bothered to replace him with Hong Ding 11 years ago. Right, that's also why Hong Lai was killed last night, because with the fall of both Hong Ding and King Lanning, this discarded pawn, drifting further and further away from the Eastern Palace, showed signs of returning to the Eastern Palace. Qing Ying asked, what next? Lin Zaiasu's gaze slowly shifted to her, his expression quite serious. Qing Ying took a deep breath. Your Majesty still has 4 princes remaining. In terms of prestige and ability, it would be the seventh prince's turn, and this seventh prince is clearly not one of them. The seventh prince, Lin Zaiasu asked, when will he return to the capital? Tomorrow. The next day. The weather was clear and bright. The spring light was dazzling. King Dingbei, who had been on a distant expedition to the South Sea, returned with the seventh prince, Hong Yun, leading 4 divisions of the Zhen Heaven Pavilion's army to the capital. At the return to the capital platform, countless people gathered to welcome them. The special envoy of the imperial palace and the chief eunuch were there to receive them. Amongst the royal officials, the 6 ministers came to welcome them. The pavilion master of Zhen Heaven Pavilion, Lei Tianlun, personally came to greet them. Marquis Zui Su Lin was also there to welcome them in person. Amidst circles of compliments, circles of warm gestures, and the mighty swing of military power, the seventh prince, Hong Yun, was ushered into the palace to partake in another grand celebration prepared by His Majesty long ago. Seventh Prince Hong Yun, devoted and courageous in national service, has fought for 11 years at Jayantai, shed his blood on the battlefield, ventured to the South Sea to repel foreign invaders, and upheld national prestige overseas, is hereby granted the title of Prince Yun. He had finally walked the path to become a prince. Yun Wang, with a single character title, was akin to being a prince. The court was vibrant and festive. The joyous atmosphere subtly diluted the somber news from the previous night. The eldest prince died in Jizhu. Due to the plague, he could not be brought to the capital and was buried on site. The somber mood was gently overshadowed by the mood of the conferring ceremony. As the sun set, the seventh prince finally returned to his mansion. Seeing the 4 words above the mansion gate change to 3, the seventh prince felt a myriad of emotions. From a 2-character title to a 1-character title, how many battlefields had he traversed? Today's boundless glory seemed apparent, but he also knew it highlighted the unfairness of destiny. Some are born with a 1-character title, while others earn it after a lifetime on the battlefield. Your Highness, don't overthink it. Delayed justice is still justice, Fu Feng consoled. The seventh prince smiled lightly. Delayed justice is inherently injustice, yet amidst the vicissitudes of life, where is the true justice? Let us enter the Nguyen Pavilion. Today I decline all visits. Yes. In the Nguyen Pavilion, Fu Feng handed a cup of tea. Your Highness, do you wish to ponder tonight on how to start your journey in court? Indeed, starting tomorrow, I must stand steadily on the left side of the court. I can't be ignorant of state affairs. Find a few stewards for me. Suddenly, a voice came from outside the Nguyen Pavilion. The prince just issued a strict order to decline all visits today, but the visitor is Marquis Zui, should the prince. With a swipe, the doors of the Nguyen Pavilion flew open. The seventh prince stepped out immediately. Outside in the courtyard, Lin Zaiasu calmly looked at a plum blossom to the left, its blooms already wilted, leaving a carpet of fallen red petals, presenting a unique scene. The personal visit from Marquis Su, a most unexpected honor. The seventh prince strode forward. Lin Zaiasu smiled. I just heard from the steward that the prince did not wish to see guests today. Thankfully, I did not consider myself a guest today but merely as the prince's neighbor. Of course it was my lapse. The seventh prince laughed. Everyone remember, whenever I mention nobody is allowed, there's an exception, Marquis Zui. Lin Zaiasu laughed. How could I dare accept such favor from the prince? Please, Marquis Su. Please, Your Highness. The two walked side by side into the Nguyen Pavilion. Fu Feng gestured others to leave, serving tea himself under the lights. Suddenly the light flickered, casting a different ambience. The seventh prince noticed nothing, but Fu Feng's eyes were suddenly fixed on the flickering light. Lin Zaiasu said, under this light everything is concealed. What we say today, neither heaven nor earth will know, only the 3 of us are aware. Capitulo 948, Chapter 718, seems like an old friend /3. The smile on the seventh prince's face suddenly stiffened. His gaze turned to Fu Feng, who nodded gently, indicating that she had already verified it. This was indeed, as he had said, the highest level of concealment. Yes, this concealment method was truly defiant of the heavens, because it was Lin Zaiasu's kindling lamp concealment. The kindling lamp of the human clan can shield the heavenly Tao. What does Marquis Su wish to say? Feel free to speak your mind, the seventh prince said. Lin Zaiasu replied, yesterday Prince Jade died in Jizhu. Does your highness have any ominous premonition? With one sentence, The hearts of the seventh prince and Feng jumped wildly. Does Marquis Su know who did it? Obviously, it was the methods of the Wandu sect, Lin Zaiasu said. Who does your highness think their next target will be? Me, isn't it? The seventh prince's face turned as grim as water. Wandu sect and the mental path are colluding at this moment, only wishing that those who enter the Eastern Palace are their marionettes. If your highness is uncertain whether they'll target you, you must first determine whether you could become their marionette. The seventh prince proclaimed, I swear to the heavens in this life, absolutely impossible. Lin Zaiasu said, so your answer is correct. Feng softly exhaled. Actually, ever since hearing the bad news about Prince Jai, we have been prepared. Lin Zaiasu gently shook his head. Don't rely on your imagination to predict the opponent's methods. The assassination of 19 celestial beams on the cultivation path cannot be stopped by a mere prince mansion. Moreover, it's not just one heavenly beam's assassination, but 2 or even more heavenly beams' entrapment. Then what should I do? The seventh prince's expression turned as dark as dripping ink. Feng's hair silently fluttered. Her heart was also overwhelmed with helplessness. If it were just an ordinary assassination, having her here could indeed guarantee her husband's safety. However, facing the towering beams on the cultivation path, and precisely as he said, it's not just one beam but at least 2. The poison of the Wandu sect is formless and limitless, using extreme measures. The assassination of the mental path, even more unknown where it starts, where it ends. Defense is fundamentally indefensible. Her cultivation, in front of these 2 towering beams, is nothing. Lin Zaiasu slowly raised his gaze. I wonder if His Highness can set aside this newly acquired title of prince, can set aside the earth-shattering ambitions of his heart. What do you mean? The seventh prince's gaze met his. Lin Zaiasu said, does your highness still remember the day of the heavenly prisoner exchange, when falsehoods became truths and truths falsehoods? How could I forget? The seventh prince said, you mean? Lin Zaiasu said. Half an hour later, Lin Zaiasu left the prince mansion and returned to the neighboring Marquis mansion. He went back to his room to sleep. He slept until the sun was high. When he awoke, Qing Ying was sitting on the window sill outside, looking towards the neighboring prince mansion, with some doubts in her eyes. Did the Marquis specially visit him yesterday to remind him? Yet I watched half the night and saw no sign of increased vigilance at the prince mansion. Could it be that this prince regarded the Marquis' warning as nothing? Anyway, what the Marquis can do has been done. Whether to heed it or not, it's up to him. Lin Zaiasu said, all right, don't pay attention to the neighbor, respect others' fate. Outside came Xiao Hong's voice, Marquis, there is a visitor. Of who? It's a woman who wrote a poem for the prince and asked the servant to bring it to the prince. Lin Zaiasu and Qing Ying exchanged a glance. Qing Ying's eyes gleamed with laughter. I've always said the Marquis' poetic talent amazes the world. A talented woman from Beijing seeking guidance was long overdue, and now she's here at last. The door opened, and Qing Ying took the paper slip handed over by Xiao Hong, reciting. After the dream, the towers are locked high, wine awake. Curtains hang low, last year's spring sorrow returns. Fallen flowers stand alone, light rain, swallows fly in pairs. Remember when we first met, double-layered, heart-lettered silk clothing, speaking of longing on the pipa strings. The bright moon was there, once shone upon colorful clouds returning. Oh my, what a talented woman. She was completely stunned. Her initial assumption was that the visitor was nothing more than an Warren from one of Beijing's famed hotel houses, blowing the tune personally created by the Marquis, listening to his boundless charm, and thinking about a close encounter with him. Playing out the storyline of a talented woman loving a famous scholar. But as this paper slip appeared in her hand, with its deeply penetrating, endless poetic charm in one little poem, she was utterly stunned. What talent is this? How could there be such a talented woman? The poetic attainments are not inferior to the Marquis. Lin Zaiasu's whole body trembled. His shock wasn't about how good the poem was, it was about where the poem came from. This is poetry from that world. Timeless poetry classic, left by centuries of waves washing sand. Appearing in this world only to tell him, the visitor is an old acquaintance. The true old acquaintance. When the bright moon was there, it once shone upon the colorful clouds returning. But which cloud was it? Qing Ying, bring her to see me. Lin Zaiasu took the note, turned back to the bedroom, gently lifted the teacup in front of him and took a sip of the tea. The tea was from the previous night, cold. The cold tea gradually calmed the turbulence in his heart. because he had already sensed a presence so unforgettable. 3 minutes later, the bedroom door opened. Qing Ying and a veiled woman stood side by side at the door. Wearing a veil is quite a normal fashion for a talented woman when going out, but receiving guests outside the marquis's bedroom, wouldn't that be a little impolite? Qing Ying was hesitating whether to switch locations, but Lin Ziaosu gently waved his hand. Qing Ying, you may leave. No need to serve. Yes, Marquis. Qing Ying bowed and retreated. The door closed softly, and the sunlight outside seemed to change its color. This change in the color of sunlight indicated the activation of the kindling lamp. The veiled woman slowly approached. Her eyes gradually softened. In the silent void, the veil was removed, revealing a face as beautiful as a spring night before Lin Ziaosu. Chang Yi. She was indeed Chang Yi. This humble woman, Yi Jai, greets the Marquis. Chang Yi gracefully bowed. With a swoosh, two strong arms suddenly embraced her, and Chang Yi was instantly enveloped in his fiery embrace. Chang Yi was startled. Marquis Yu. Don't worry, darling. Your man is not what he once was. The protection field is set up, blocking the heavens and the earth and all prying eyes. Even if the Lord of Wan Du sect is right outside the window, he can't see what happens inside the room. Chang Yi lifted her gaze. Really? What's real or not? You and I have fought side by side so many times, when have I ever lied? Lin Ziaosu said. Chang Yi looked at him for a long time, her eyes gently closing. After what happened with 101, you still hold no grudge against me? Of course. Why, I betrayed Qianlong in front of everyone and personally strangled Xinyu. Her voice lightly trembled. You mustn't forget, my true path is that of a detective. If I couldn't see through your Trojan horse project, wouldn't I be disgracing the name of Feng Cheng's first detective? Your first investigation was because of me, and the last investigation in that world was also because of me. Yes, so don't say anything, let me kiss you properly. I need to remind you. Chang Yi's eyes slowly opened. My poison has already penetrated from the outside in. Touching my skin is fine, but don't touch my tongue while kissing, let alone think about going further. That clearly explained it all. Her poison had moved from the outside in. No more need for protective clothing. But no deep contact. I also need to remind you, Lin Ziaosu said, nothing is ever absolute in this world. A kiss landed. Her eyes suddenly widened. Next, the challenge entered a new phase. All tasks were completed in one go. How was it? Chang Yi was very nervous. The taste was excellent. Was it the taste that was pleasing or the sensation? You must clarify. Chang Yi was a bit overwhelmed. Look at what you're saying. Isn't a good taste just a pleasing sensation? Is there a difference? Lin Ziaosu said eagerly. Have an hour passed? An hour passed. Chang Yi finally caught her breath, still able to breathe. Relax, based on experience, all your shackles are nothing before me. Lin Ziaosu said. Thinking back, it was really quite hard to break through your shackles. I spent years to achieve it. Why don't you just say your cultivation was all for my sake? Chang Yi glanced at him sideways. Exactly, to sleep soundly with darling Chang Yi. I trained relentlessly until I cultivated a divine demon body impervious to 1,000 poisons. Lin Ziaosu said. Speaking of which, your cultivation progress is also astonishing. I originally thought I would be a legend emerging from that world, unlocking the source of 10,000 poisons within me, achieving a body of 10,000 poisons unseen through the ages, and comprehending the poison scripture at a rapid pace. In less than a year, I broke into enlightenment of God, but you are the one who just ruins my mindset. Can you really withstand the Tao wielding? At her last words, her expression was tense. Against a normal first realm of Tao, I'm not just withstanding, I'm overwhelming, Lin Ziaosu said. But for the second realm of Tao wielding, I might not yet be able to win. Capitulo 949, Chapter 719. The kindling lamp was a divine artifact. The second realm of holding the way, losing is normal, winning would be uncanny. Chang Yi said, now that you've had your fun, let's sit up and have a proper conversation. Let's just talk while lying down. With you touching all over, my focus follows your fingers around. How can I seriously analyze anything? Chang Yi sprang up from the bed. She quickly dressed and sat back down by the tea table. Holding a cup of tea, she took a sip of the hot brew, feeling relaxed and content. Finally, she reached a point where she could be intimate with her man anytime she wanted. Not an easy feat. Lin Ziaosu also sat across from her, looking at Chang Yi dressed in otherworld attire, her fair face fully revealed. He was quite pleased. I came here this time on a mission. Chang Yi put down the teacup, her eyes very serious. Lin Ziasu nodded gently. Tell me about your mission. Chang Yi said, this mission is under the orders of the Venerable Poison, known as the Old Witch. There are two parts. First, find out your background and discover who exactly is behind you. Second, investigate the mysterious case of the Kyan-Du sect's destruction, especially if there's a hidden agenda behind the sudden stupidity of the Kyan-Du Island Saint Lord. Lin Ziasu smiled. That's simple, your mission can now be completed. A string of explanations left his mouth and entered Chang Yi's ears. Chang Yi exhaled lightly. You are indeed professional at setting traps, Lin Erlang. You're as skilled at it as ever, okay? I'll follow your plan. With such a challenging task completed so quickly, wouldn't it arouse suspicion from others? Lin Ziasu asked. What do you mean? Chang Yi cast a charming glance. Want me to stay and play a few more days? Look at the use of the word play. Chang Yi sighed gently. Even though you have unlocked my body and we can really play freely, we might not have a good environment because someone else has come down the mountain and he's also carrying a mission. What mission? To poison the seventh prince. Lin Ziasu was stunned. Chang Yi's eyes slowly rested on his face. Before coming down the mountain, I read your file. It recorded that you have an unusual relationship with this seventh prince. I think you intend to use the seventh prince as a fulcrum to leverage the entire Great Wilderness dynasty, right? Exactly. Can the seventh prince die? No. Therefore, the strategist who shocks the world, Lin, needs to come up with a foolproof plan to thwart the enemy's conspiracy, Chang Yi said. Lin Ziasu said, what kind of person came down the mountain with you? A state of holding, intersect elder with unfathomable poisoning skills, Chang Yi replied. Lin Ziasu asked, does he need your assistance to poison the seventh prince? No, he can complete it independently. Then why would he tell you such a confidential mission? Chang Yi froze. Did you subconsciously think that cultivation sects are all about fighting and killing, far removed from the various layers of espionage in modern war spy stories? Chang Yi nodded slowly, leaving Qianlong for less than a year, but it seems like my consciousness really has been distant for too long, so distant that I ignored the most basic rules. You're right, he doesn't need my cooperation but deliberately told me this thing. Essentially, it's a test for me. He wants to see if, knowing this secret action, I would sabotage his move. Yes, since you're from that world. No matter how flawless you act, the seeds of doubt in a person's heart cannot be eradicated. Chang Yi said, then what should we do? This is almost an open plot. In the world, conspiracies are never frightening. Open plots are always the terrifying ones. The Wandu sect also has wise members. They can see that Marquis Zui will not give up on this prince. They specifically inform Chang Yi, who is close to Marquis Zui and whose loyalty is uncertain, that someone has come down the mountain to take action against the seventh prince. If Chang Yi intends to retaliate against the Wandu sect, she wouldn't miss this opportunity. She would join forces with Marquis Zui to dismantle this major action. If so, she would also be exposed. If she does not wish to be exposed, she can only watch the seventh prince die, and whatever Marquis Zui intends to do through the seventh prince, it will all fall through. No matter how you choose, it's the wrong choice. This is the ruthlessness of the Wandu sect. It's simple, Lin Ziasu said. You pretend you didn't hear it and I'll pretend I didn't know. Then the seventh prince is doomed. Lin Ziasu laughed. I suspected Wandu sect's plot against the seventh prince yesterday. I've already made arrangements last night. The one next door is sent for him to kill. If killed, my act can go on. If not, it will get awkward for me instead. Chang Yi's eyes lit up, a decoy. Exactly. Others won't find out. Unless Jai-san performs the autopsy. Otherwise, no one should be able to find out. Chang Yi leaned over, give me a kiss. The two of them lightly touched lips, a sign of their mutual excitement. Even though it was just a kiss, Chang Yi was quite reluctant, lingering for a moment before slowly pulling away. I have some news about the Wandu sect as well. Not sure if it's useful, but I'll tell you anyway. Go ahead. I know why the Wandu sect is so eager to enter the Great Xia realm. They're seeking the Kunlun Divine Hall, searching for a divine artifact stored within. Lin Ziasu felt a surge of emotion. What kind of divine artifact? A lamp, the kindling lamp left by Emperor Kun, Chang Yi said. The last human emperor Kun comprehended the three-character bone book human volume, igniting his own kindling lamp. This lamp can kill Jai San and even pose a threat to Kang Yuan. The ambition of the Wandu sect is enormous. They want to seize this lamp first. Lin Ziyasu's heart surged like a storm. The Emperor Kun's kindling lamp had once been placed before him. Capítulo 950, Chapter 719. The kindling lamp was always a divine artifact, too. No, Taoist Lu Yun personally brought it to him and told him, "You traveled thousands of miles, and I have nothing to gift, so take this kindling lamp for your journey." He refused. The reason was that the lamp wasn't his. However, now Chang Yi tells him, the ultimate goal of Wandu sect breaking into the blue planet is this lamp. And when going to Jiangnan, his generous mother-in-law, Du Yuxin, told him another matter. There's a circulation array in that world. The array I is a divine artifact, and this artifact can kill Jai San. Now everything matches. This artifact that can kill Jai San is Emperor Kun's kindling lamp. Emperor Kun's kindling lamp, can it really kill Jai San? Lin Ziyasu asked. Theoretically, yes, Chang Yi said. The most powerful aspect of the kindling lamp is the square-inch heavenly Tao, which means that within the reach of the lamp's light, the lamp holder becomes the heavenly Tao. When Jai San enters this space, his life and death are controlled by the lamp holder. Kindling lamp, I know. I always thought the strongest feature of the kindling lamp was just to shield the heavenly Tao. Lin Ziyasu gently exhaled. Chang Yi said, in the hands of ordinary people, the kindling lamp can only shield the heavenly Tao. Only those whose cultivation reaches the realm of Jai San, holding the kindling lamp accompanied by the most mystical, human Tao true skill, can redefine the rules of the heavenly Tao. Anyone entering the space will have their life and death governed by the lamp holder. There's also human Tao true skill. Human Tao true skill is a set of principles closely connected to the kindling lamp. There's no standard template. All top-tier sects understand the human Tao true skill, which originates from the snowfield. The comprehension varies among people, but its wonderful uses are similar. Snowfield. The snowfield is most renowned for its all living beings are equal, yet few know that this equality is actually a relic from the first-generation human emperor, Emperor Zin, after achieving enlightenment, and the equality itself is the core foundation of the human Tao true skill. Chang Yi said. Human Tao true skill, all living beings are equal. Snowfield. A slew of words flowed through Lin Ziyasu's mind, processing the big revelation he just received from Chang Yi. These big revelations are not exactly a secret. Almost all of Jai San know this. Yet no one knows where Kunlun Divine Hall is, which means no one can find Emperor Kun's kindling lamp. The top-tier circle knows this big news, and when it reached Lin Ziyasu's ears, it hit him differently. He knows that now there's no Kunlun Divine Hall in the world, only the three realms, or heroic spirit tomb. The rumored divine lamp is not on the highest altar of the divine hall, but in the hands of a blind Taoist. And the snowfield. The snowfield is a name he encountered relatively early in that world. Because of Miaozheng's little sister, Yixingyang's white turtle. The white turtle is called the snowfield holy beast, and during the disaster on the third day of the third lunar month, in that tunnel, it interpreted, all living beings are equal. He finally truly touched the core of the true struggle among heaven, earth, and man millions of years ago. He also truly understood why the human path can overcome strength with weakness. Besides the human path's inherent vitality, there is another layer of rule. The human path's weakness is not true weakness, the kindling lamp of the human race that gathers millions of people's hearts and continues the human clan's legacy can redefine the heavenly Tao. Within that space, I am supreme. Even if Jai San comes, they must follow my rule. I have been in your room for a long time, I must leave now, Chang Yi said. Lin Ziyasu gently embraced. After returning to Wandu sect, don't rush. The task of destroying Wandu sect is mine. Back then in Fusang country, Luoba state, Middle East, confronting the nine-headed snake in Utopia, I'm used to it now. When you are there I just do as you say. Chang Yi said. This is my little wife. Chang Yi gently smiled. Do you have any plans to return midway? Yes, possibly quite soon. Chang Yi's face gradually moved from his embrace, slowly tilting up. There's someone I never dared to ask. I know who you want to ask about. Lin Ziyasu said, Xinyu is still alive. When I return I will tell her. Your pinch was not to kill her but to save her. Chang Yi's face immediately brightened. She rose on tiptoes, giving him another kiss. All right, no longer a concern, let's distance ourselves. I'll put on a show. The distance opened up. Lin Ziyasu's curtain was blown by the wind. Outside the bedroom in the tea house, Chang Yi wore a veil gracefully bowed. Lin Ziyasu also slightly bowed. Marquis' thesis, every word is invaluable, little woman admires endlessly. I wouldn't dare miss his talent, is worthy of a talented woman. See you next time. See you next time. The door opened, Chang Yi gracefully walked through the courtyard. Cheng Ying see Miss Yi out. Yes, Marquis. Cheng Ying escorted Chang Yi out. Soon she returned. Lin Ziyasu was drinking tea in the gauze pavilion, with a small white rabbit lying on his knee. He gently stroked the rabbit's white fur, appearing leisurely. Marquis Miss Yi has left, Cheng Ying said. Lin Ziyasu nodded gently. Cheng Ying, I have another errand for you to handle. Please instruct, Marquis. Send this Dai Ting back to the underworld. Cheng Ying shivered all over. Dai Ting. Didn't you notice? This little white rabbit is actually a top-tier exotic beast from the underworld, Dai Ting. Cheng Ying trembled and said, knowing that Dai Ting is an unparalleled beast of the underworld, Marquis should know its infinite uses, truly just send it back to the underworld like this. Yes, I currently have no benefit keeping it. It's better to establish a good bond with the underworld. Lin Ziyasu said. Marquis, there's something. I don't know if I should mention it. Capitulo 951, Chapter 719. The kindling lamp was originally a divine artifact 3. What is it that we cannot discuss? Speak. Cheng Ying said, Marquis, among the 19 celestial beams, the underworld is an anomaly. Cheng Ying supports you befriending any top power, but as for the underworld, Cheng Ying thinks it is really unwise to associate with it. It will ruin your grand future and could even destroy your cultivation road. Is it because of the struggle between the heavenly Tao and the underworld? Yes, the underworld is not tolerated by this heavenly Tao. Those who associate with the underworld are abandoned by the heavenly Tao. If you listen to Cheng Ying, you would do better to give this Dai Ting to the heavenly capital, which is very eager to obtain a tunnel beast of this level for refining magic artifacts. In this way, your relationship with the heavenly capital might truly improve. Lin Ziyasu laughed. Cheng Ying, you are indeed thinking on behalf of this Marquis, but I also have my own methods for handling affairs. Don't ask me why for now, just follow my arrangements and do it first. Yes, Cheng Ying accepted the order. When should I depart, Marquis? Now. The little white rabbit was delivered into Cheng Ying's hands. Cheng Ying bowed deeply. Farewell, Marquis. The underworld is far-reaching with many uncertainties, and this journey's return date is undecided. Prioritize your own safety above all else. Rest assured, Marquis, I am off. Cheng Ying vanished in a flash, setting off once again on the road. And Lin Ziyasu gently waved his hand. Butler, come here. The butler quickly ran over. Marquis, I have some business to attend to outside, with no set time for return. The household affairs will be entrusted to you. Yes, Marquis. Double the servants' wages every month, and make sure they eat better too. Marquis, the butler was astonished. Why again with this move? Don't save money for me. I have too much of it, and the path of squandering home is long, so let everyone in the household help me with it. Lin Ziyasu rose into the air. As he soared into the sky, he was wearing the Marquis's clothes, but upon reaching the sky, they transformed into an ordinary scholar's robe. This set of clothes was not the Marquis's clothes granted by your majesty, but was actually the Miao clothes made from the ancient divine vine from the ancient divine ruins. Its size changes at will, it transforms at will. When he needs to be the Marquis Zui, these clothes are the Marquis clothes. When he needs to be a playboy, they transform into a scholar's robe, and when he needs to fight, they become battle armor. Lin Xiaopao exiled Cheng Ying, exiled Dai Ting, settled the household affairs and stepped into the Jianghu. No one knew his whereabouts. His journey was temporarily at an end. First, let's talk about the earth-shattering event occurring in an unknown place. Kangyuan in front of an extraordinary gate. This gate stood in the void, resembling the eye of the heavenly Tao. Time, space, reincarnation, yin and yang, life, cause and effect originated from chaos, turning the inch of land before the gate into another space of the heavenly Tao. Outside this space, there were 7 people. They were 7 of the Kangyuan 13 heavenly gang. The 13 heavenly gang are monumental pillars suppressing the world. each of them no less than the top sect masters of the ancient world, yet their expertise is specialized. For instance, these 7 focused on the heavenly Tao 7 techniques. The one specializing in the time law was called Meiju. The one specializing in the space law was called Willow Leaf. The one specializing in the yin-yang law was called Yin Shisen. The one specializing in the law of cause and effect was called Lu Huayan. The one specializing in the reincarnation law was called Li Lun. The one specializing in the life law was called He Yuan Fairy. The one specializing in the chaos law was called Zixia. The first 5 were men, each refined and elegant, resembling celestial beings. The last 2 were women, even more ethereal and free from dust. Since midnight on the Lantern Festival, they had arrived in front of this outer heaven chaos gate, employing the heavenly Tao 7 techniques, crafting the void cave heaven. After half a month, this door was finally born from chaos. Fairy Zixia transformed into a green lotus, the vines sprawling across the chaos gate, and the mysterious patterns on the chaos gate lit up one by one. The other 6 observed silently. The gate of the chaos is finally opening. That little junior sister is finally about to appear. A wisp of sound from Meiju reached Kangyuan Liu. "Brother Liu, what do you expect?" Kangyuan Liu replied, "What about you?" Meiju gently shook his head. "I can't imagine what kind of spectacle it will be. The heavenly repair plan itself is the limit of what the cultivation path can imagine." Willow Leaf said, "Indeed, it's the limit of what the cultivation path can imagine, and that's the essence of the heavenly repair plan. The little junior sister was originally a heavenly abandoned body with a fate of 13 deficiencies. If her fate can be completed, what type of constitution in the world can't be completed? The cultivation road is vast indeed." Meiju gently shook his head. "Brother Liu, you're still too optimistic. Although the junior sister is a heavenly abandoned body with a fate of 13 deficiencies, she is the master's own daughter, with an unparalleled genetic starting point. Moreover, the master prepared a heavenly Tao tree for her, with its 13 leaves encompassing 13 great divine powers. Who else in the world can imitate or replicate that? You say this is an exploration into perfecting the cultivation path, but an exploration that no one can replicate. What benefit does it have for the cultivation path? I think this is tailored by the master specifically for the junior sister." Willow Leaf said, "Brother May, please don't mention it again. The entire Kangyuan sees this plan as the righteous path of the Tao, so why don't we take it as such? Why must we have our own opinions and question the master?" Although he solemnly warned Meiju, yet deep inside, his feelings were complicated. The master's personally orchestrated heavenly repair plan, adorned with the grand name of Heavenly Tao Patchwork, benefiting the cultivation path, was just as much based on personal interest. Yes, there are many regrets along the cultivation road of the world, many people lacking this and that. If there's a wonderful technique to complete them, the significance for the cultivation path would be epic-making. However, what exactly are you supplementing? You're using your own beloved daughter for this experiment, using the strongest heavenly Tao tree of Kangyuan for the trial, with its 13 leaves and 13 great divine powers. Even if it were a pig placed in that crystal coffin to sleep for a few thousand years and endure these 13 great divine powers, this pig would become the mightiest in the world. Capitulo 952, Chapter 719. The kindling lamp was originally a divine artifact, Part 4. Are you filling the Taoist gap, or are you using Kangyuan's public tools for personal gain? Those who understand, understand. But can it be said? This Meiju cultivates the time law, while he, Kangyuan Liu, cultivates the space law. Time and space are one family, and the two are as close as brothers. He doesn't want Meiju to be feared by their master because he is too outspoken. The gate of the chaos opens, presenting a scene like a forgotten world in front of the 7 people. An endless star river. Within the star river, an ancient stele. On the stele, a bare little tree with only one branch, on the branch 13 leaves. Under the stele, a crystal coffin with clouds and mists floating. Zixia cheered. "Look, brothers, 13 leaves on the heavenly Tao tree, all lost their divinity, and junior sister has fully inherited them. Zixia, you and I as sisters should go and have a look. Brothers, please wait for a moment, junior sister has not yet dressed," He Yuan Fairy said. The 2 women stepped simultaneously, arriving above the crystal coffin. Suddenly they were slightly surprised. "She is dressed," junior sister woke up halfway through. Silently, the other 5 brothers all arrived. They looked at the junior sister in the crystal coffin. everyone's face full of admiration. Junior sister Shui truly inherited their master's peerless beauty. The delicate face lying in the coffin is a beauty that no painter in the world could ever capture. Only one person, Lu Wyan, who specializes in the law of cause and effect, had a furrowed brow. Something's wrong. Junior sister doesn't seem to have inherited all the divine skills. There is a lack. As his voice fell, a light point suddenly appeared at the entrance. The light point enlarged, containing two human figures. An old man in green clothes, a beautiful woman in white clothes, the two standing on the light point, seemingly near at hand, yet appearing to stand in another world. Master's wife, the seven bowed together. The visitors were indeed the Lord of Kangyuan, Yuan Master and his wife. Yuan Master folded the light point into a dewdrop, hovering above the crystal coffin, and his brows suddenly tightened. Master, Lu Wyan bowed. Disciple feels that junior sister should still have a lack. She seems not to have inherited all the divine skills. Yuan Master's gaze slowly raised, staring upward. Before everyone, a scene suddenly appeared. One late night, a dewdrop of seven-colored light fell from the leaves, onto a phantom silver fish, not onto the forehead of the woman in the crystal coffin. Intercepting the heavenly Tao opportunity, Meiju's face changed. On the second late night, the same scene reappeared. On the third late night, as a dewdrop fell, junior sister opened her eyes, releasing an attack, splitting the phantom silver fish in two. Solved. Junior sister really did not inherit all the divine skills. Two dewdrops representing great divine power were intercepted by an external primordial spirit. This primordial spirit was also personally eliminated by junior sister. This place is supposed to be a place of tribulation. Where did the external primordial spirit come from? Kangyuan Liui was astonished. Such a meticulous arrangement, yet still missing a damned primordial spirit. Li Lun said angrily. The elder responsible for clearing the field that day deserves death. Yuan Master's gaze slowly lowered. It has nothing to do with the clearing field of that day. Nothing to do. Everyone looked at each other in disbelief. The wife said, although this place is where the tribulation occurs, it is also the location of the Zhou Great Array Eye. That external primordial spirit snuck in through the Zhou Array Eye. What the wife said is true, Yuan Master said. Moreover, this person is not yet dead. Not dead, the wife was also surprised. This primordial spirit has not yet truly formed and cannot possibly fuse these two great divine powers for personal use. If it had been slain on the spot, the two great divine powers would have returned to their rightful owner. But the primordial spirit is divided, and the skills have not returned, indicating that this person possesses the divine splitting skill. He is still in the world, Yuan Master said solemnly. All seven heavenly elites were invigorated. Still in the world, that is very good. How dare you steal something from Kangyuan? Let's see if the 9 heavens and 10 earths have a place for you to hide. Capitulo 953, Chapter 720, Beyond the Snowfield lies Yidu. The Yuan Master's gaze descended. That world at present does not allow anyone above the holding the way level. Be prepared. On September 19th, 2 years from now, enter that world at the first opportunity and ensure this person is taken. Yes, the 7 responded in unison. The lady said, the 2 lost great divine powers are respectively the heavenly Tao Wisdom Eye and the human Tao Orchid Heart. Focus on people in the world who are particularly intelligent, those who cultivate with astonishing speed, and those proficient in time reversal technique. If in that world these 3 traits appear in one person, that person must be the one you're looking for. Thank you for the guidance, Master Mother. Go. The 7 exited through the door of the Forgotten World simultaneously. Meiju and Willowleaf walked side by side, taking 3 steps to arrive by a riverbank. Brother Liu, isn't it quite amusing? Meiju said. Amusing? Willowleaf glared at him. Our little junior sister seems to have inherited 11 divine powers, incredibly strong, but she lacks only the human Tao Orchid Heart and heavenly Tao Wisdom Eye. In the human world, that's called lack of common sense. Kangyuan Willowleaf gave him a sideways glance, gently shook his head, and with a wave of his hand opened a heavenly window. Beneath the heavenly window was the scene of Dahuang City. Brother Liu intending to descend to the human world, Meiju said. Kangyuan Willowleaf said, isn't it because of the news you brought me during the Lantern Festival? I have to take down Marquis Zui. Lantern Festival. Meiju brought explosive news to the meditating Kanyuan Willow Leaf. Someone was impersonating Kanyuan Willow Leaf, causing uproar in the demon domain. How could Kanyuan Willow Leaf tolerate it? He had to capture this audacious thief and bring him up to Kanyuan to present to the Elder Council, to prove he had no connection to the turmoil in the demon domain. He was about to leave Kanyuan at the time, but wasn't the situation special then? The matter of the little junior sister leaving seclusion overshadowed everything. As one of the 7 laws adept in human affairs, he had to act together to open the gate of the chaos. Now that everything was settled, it was time to handle the matter, taking down Marquis Zui. The heavenly window was already open, but there was no trace of Marquis Zui. "Brother May give it a check," Kanyuan Willow Leaf said. Meiju extended his hand and invoked a time-space reversal. Soon they saw Lin Zaiasu returning from the Northern Territory. Just this scene was enough to declare he couldn't escape. However, Meiju's eyes grew wider and wider, as if seeing an incredible scene. "Strange." "What is strange?" Kanyuan Willow Leaf said. Meiju said, "All his movements are visible to me, yet whenever he's discussing with someone or in his bedroom, I can't see anything clearly. He has a kindling lamp." "He has a kindling lamp." Kanyuan Willow Leaf was slightly startled. "Can you discern what kind of kindling lamp it is?" "I can only tell it's not the kindling lamp of the human race, nor the earth Tao. Whether it's demon, magic, or spirit, I cannot discern." Because the kindling lamp of the human race and earth Tao would conflict with the heavenly Tao in this world, he did not sense a strong reaction from the heavenly Tao, which can only mean one thing: the lamp he uses does not conflict with this dimension's heavenly Tao. As long as it's not a human race kindling lamp, it's nothing significant. After all, he personally destroyed the Demon King Palace and visited the ancient divine ruins. Obtaining a lamp from the Demon Clan or the Divine Demon Clan is not surprising. Willow Leaf said, "Pursue where he is at the moment." The matter of the kindling lamp is extremely significant. However, because these two had too high status and vision, they actually overlooked Lin Zaiasu's kindling lamp. As long as it's confirmed that this kindling lamp does not belong to the human clan, they are entirely uninterested. Because the weight of the kindling lamp of the human clan compared to those of the demon clan or magic clan is a world of difference. The demon clan and magic clan are numerous, and if each clan had a lamp, they'd be countless. Some clans are extinct, yet their lamps are still used as magic artifacts, not surprising at all. But the kindling lamp of the human clan is different. Everyone in the world is human, the human clan. One lamp makes the human path. Only the human lamp has a chance to develop the power of square inch. They ruled out the possibility of Lin Zaiasu having a human clan kindling lamp, simply because Lin Zaiasu's lamp is not an external artifact, but that tiny flame born within him. This tiny flame is naturally grown. No matter whether the heavenly Tao is willing or not, it is ultimately a natural product of the great Tao. This usage of a kindling lamp leaves no trail, and is natural just the same. If Lin Zaiasu had taken the Emperor Kun's kindling lamp that day, evidently, it would have caused a cataclysmic collapse. Following Meiju's track, Lin Zaiasu in the heavenly window, his figure was elusive. Even Meiju praised him. "Yin-yang step, this kid's understanding of the law is truly extraordinary, Brother Liu. Have you thought about taking him as a disciple?" "If I wanted to accept disciples, I would have taken a bunch 3,000 years ago. Why would I still be alone till now? The geniuses in the world think highly of themselves, but in my eyes, what makes them extraordinary?" Willow Leaf said. "Snowfield." "Yes, Snowfield. Is this kid addicted to attacking sex?" Pointing his spear towards Snowfield, Meiju said. "Haha, if he truly can take down Snowfield, I might change my mind and take him as a disciple. Unfortunately, the secret of Snowfield, even the people of the world can't touch the door with him." Kanyuan Willow Leaf moved, stepping into the sky, through the heavenly window, and descended straight towards the snowfield. Lin Zaiasu at this moment stood in an ancient and vast city. This city is called Yidu. It is the birthplace of the first human emperor. This human emperor named Zin emerged from the city, slaying the giant demon Wayang, laying the foundation for centuries, truly igniting that indestructible spark among the multitudes coming out of the wilderness. Here is his beginning and his return. Capitulo 954, Chapter 720, Beyond the Snowfield lies Yidu /2. When setting off, the spirited young man encountered countless adventures and romances throughout his journey. After 3,700 years, he ultimately became a human emperor, vanquishing the giant demon Wayang beyond chaos and balancing the 8 wildernesses and 6 directions at his fingertips. Expert cultivators bowed at his feet, and the eternal true dragon prostrated before him. Such a human emperor did not remain in the exalted position of venerable emperor. After ruling for 100 years, he took off his dragon robe, set aside the imperial seal, and returned to his homeland in simple attire. There were no cheers from the city, no civil and military officials, no beloved kin, not even the striking beauty that once amazed the world. Only an old turtle accompanied him. He, with white hair, climbed step by step up the white Jade mountain. From then on, snowflakes drifted around the mountaintop, and a vast snowfield stretched behind the mountain. After another 81 years, the old turtle ascended into Tao and became part of the 9-tier platform on U Mountain. Meanwhile, this first human emperor exhausted his blood and flesh, leaving behind the 3-character bone book Human Volume. Upon the publication of the Human Volume, heaven was enraged, inflicting 81 days of heavenly punishment. On that day, human Emperor Xin angrily pointed at the sky and left behind the 4-character worldly eulogy. All living beings are equal. These 4 characters were not just his anguished cry towards heavenly Tao, but also the eternal laws of the snowfield. In the snowfield, any cultivation level would be suppressed to the peeping heaven realm, primordial spirit could not be utilized, and rules could not be applied. Thus, the snowfield became a sanctuary for many. Anyone encountering powerful enemies outside could seek refuge in the snowfield, where most external experts could be evaded. Some say this was the human emperor, preserving a pure land for the human clan in this realm. No matter how ferocious the demons and monsters were in the world, upon arriving at the snowfield, a dragon had to coil up, and a ghost also had to shrink back. Lin Zaiasu sat at the Yidu Tavern, gazing at the white Jade Mountain. His heart stirred with tumultuous emotions. All living beings are equal. It sounds simple, but how difficult it is to achieve. A generation of human emperor, a talented figure through the ages, also paid the ultimate price of life and Tao's demise for these 4 words. The chaotic world could not tolerate his defiant spirit. Under the mandate of heaven, treating all beings equally was intolerably ironic. Today, he too had no choice but to follow in the footsteps of this ancient human emperor. Just as he was settling the bill and preparing to leave, conversations behind him caught his attention. "Have you heard? The demon sect has been defeated." "What? The demon sect is one of the 9 gates. How could they possibly lose?" In a normal battle, when the demon sect emerges, who can withstand them? However, the passage outside Fallen God Valley enforces all living beings are equal, suppressing everyone's cultivation to peeping heaven realm. In the passage, you face missiles from the other side and thousands of Qianlong warriors known as Nirvana. Although their combat power barely reaches peeping heaven, each one is fierce and unafraid of death. Coupled with various bombs, even if the demon sect claims their physical bodies are invincible, significant casualties were incurred. These words reached Lin Zaiasu's ears, deeply touching him. With clasped hands he moved forward. "Fellow brothers, may I ask what kind of scenery exists outside Fallen God Valley?" Perhaps his gentlemanly charm made it hard for people to harbor ill feelings towards him, or perhaps his skillful use of words gradually teased out more information. In any case, he learned a great deal. The area outside Fallen God Valley, unexpectedly, was southern borders Conch Valley in Daxia country. All living beings are equal was caused by the snow turtle raised by Yixingyang. And among the Qianlong warriors there, a batch of Nirvana appeared. In the past, this was unimaginable. Among the genetic people, a Nirvana was 1 in 10,000. Where did so many come from? However, his thoughts returned to Old Tashin village on that day. That was before the new year, when Blue Demon disguised as Chang Yi entered his small courtyard, and he opened Blue Demon's creation gate, resulting in Blue Demon's own Nirvana. She didn't linger in the small room for even a minute, promptly returning to Qianlong headquarters. She shared with Lin Zaiasu. She wanted to use her own creation to connect the technological links, allowing genetic scientists to find a stable, replicable path to Nirvana. This path, has it succeeded? In just over a year, Qianlong warriors truly underwent batch Nirvana. Fortunately, with this significant change, the corridor seems relatively stable. The purple-clad middle-aged man in front spoke. The defeat of the demon sect this time was due to inadequate preparation against the enemy. Upon hearing the news of defeat, the demon sect was furious and dispatched the ancient demon team, vowing to avenge this shame. Ancient demon, the crowd exclaimed in surprise. This demon hails from ancient times, a time when cultivation laws were disregarded, focusing solely on physical enhancement. Such an army appearing in the passage renders any tactic on the opposing side useless. Indeed, all living beings are equal is the greatest restriction for expert cultivators, but for ancient demons who don't rely on cultivation levels, it's advantageous, especially for purebred purple-blood ancient demons. It's like adding wings to a tiger. Few ancient demons remain in the demon sect. To think they would act over this passage, what's on the other side, a land of the end of Dharma, some pondered. I heard two extremely bizarre rumors, voiced one individual. Firstly, although it's the end of Dharma era on the other side of the passage, it's said to be the site of human Emperor Kun's demise. The three-character bone book human volume is in that realm, and Kun Emperor's heaven circulation array eye's divine artifact is there. The crowd nodded in agreement. This makes sense. If they are after such a peerless divine artifact, it's unsurprising that the 19 celestial beams are using their trump cards. Chapter 955-720. Beyond the Snowfield Lies Yidu, Part 3. Sir, you just mentioned that this was just one of the rumors. How does the other rumor go? The gentleman replied, the second rumor is somewhat taboo. Everyone, don't spread it carelessly. I heard this matter is related to the Snowfield. The demon sect believes that the appearance of the snow turtle on that passage is a setup by the Snowfield itself to block other sects from infiltrating that world. They want to monopolize the Emperor Kun's legacy treasures. Everyone looked at each other. This explanation seems even more convincing. Outside Fallen God Valley, the phrase all living beings are equal suddenly appeared. This itself had an undeniable connection with the Snowfield. All living beings are equal was the most famous divine skill of the Snowfield that wielded power over the world. Apart from the Snowfield, who could create this? The Snowfield couldn't have created this for no reason. They have their own motives, blocking the passage and waiting for the right moment. Once the moment comes, they act first to seize the initiative, which aligns with the usual behavior of a sect. And the Snowfield holds a blood feud with the demon sect. The root lies in the Snowfield, protecting too many people, the demon sect wants to hunt down. This led to the rampant behavior of the demon sect, and others hardly submit. At worst, they would fight and if defeated, move their entire clan to the Snowfield. With such a retreat available, the demon sect's methods of threatening others lose their deterrent power. So how could the demon sect not hate the Snowfield? Various analyses, various pieces of information, some were spoken openly, some were through divine sense communication. However, Lin Zai also activated the kindling lamp, so he heard everything, even the divine sense communication. The demon sect is one of the 9 gates, a giant among the 19 celestial beams. The Snowfield, although not among the 19 celestial beams, is even more mysterious than them, having no earth-shattering battle achievements to support it. Yet in this chaotic world, under the rampage of the 19 celestial beams, it can maintain a pure land, which itself attests to its strength. Is it possible to make something out of this? He pondered for a long time, finally got up, and headed towards that white jade mountain. Entering the Snowfield 2 ways. One way is to enter from the white jade cave, verify identity, make a promise, pay some toll and arrive safely. The other way is to climb the mountain to enter. And this mountain is a paradox. No matter how astounding your cultivation is, it's all suppressed to the observing heaven realm. Jai Sang came here and had to redo observing heaven all over again. Don't think of flying straight up. Observing heaven does not fly, you have to climb. However, this white jade mountain rises sharply, steep as a sword, even monkeys can't climb it, let alone you at the mere observing heaven level. Therefore, to climb this mountain and enter the Snowfield, there is a prerequisite. You must be a top-notch heavenly pride. Though at the observing heaven realm, possessing actual combat power above the observing heaven realm. On the cultivation path, this is called fighting beyond one's level. Therefore, there is an unwritten rule in the Snowfield. Different ways of entering the Snowfield mean different treatments. Those who pay to enter at the bottom are just considered bottom tier, unnoticed, left to fend for themselves in the Snowfield. Those who climb their way in are heavenly pride. Heavenly pride naturally enjoys the treatment of heavenly pride. The higher they climb, the better the treatment. Entering at the first level stairs, one's name can be entered into the Snowfield Disciple Registry, regarded as a registered disciple. Entering via the second, third, or fourth level stairs, one becomes an outer disciple. Entering at the fifth level stairs, one becomes an inner disciple. Entering at the sixth level stairs will certainly attract the attention of high-level elders, who might accept you as a personal disciple. Entering at the seventh level stairs, there was once a key figure who triggered the dispute between the demon sect and the Snowfield legend Dong Sankyu. This person originally belonged to the Dong Tian clan controlled by the demon sect, but turned against the demon sect and fled thousands of miles to enter the Snowfield. If he used the usual way to enter the Snowfield might indeed not risk forming a deep feud with one of the 19 celestial beings, the demon sect, for a refugee disciple. However, he entered by crossing the seventh level stairs. The sect master was shaken and took him as a personal disciple. The demon sect demanded him back, but the sect master resolutely refused, preferring to battle with the entire clan for him. This shows the extraordinary value of this boy. It also shows the incredible worth of the seventh level stairs. This is the highest record in 3,000 years. As for the eighth level, ninth level, they are purely legendary. Rumor has it, at the 8 Extremes platform, one can observe the world's winds and clouds. At Peak 9 Extreme, one stands shoulder to shoulder with the human emperor. Lin Zaiasu strode confidently to the base of U Mountain. Below U Mountain is a wide passage. At the end of the passage it is not dark, but rather incomparably pure. Standing outside the passage, one's spirit becomes tranquil as a magical pressure descends from the void, stopping at the top, seeming to block all worldly pressures, giving people a sense of calm. In front is a gate, and beside the gate are people, 2 disciples in all white robes. A disciple spoke, "State your name and origin, undergo inspection, pay 10 pieces of desert gold, then you may enter." As this disciple spoke, his eyes were gazing at the sky. So Lin Zaiasu didn't stand on ceremony with him, lightly tapped his toe. With a buzzing sound, he sprang like a fish leaping out of water, ascending to the first level step above. This level step was 10 feet high. It is not a 90-degree normal step but has a slope. Normally, one ascends the step by slowly moving up this slope. Indeed, there are 4 or 5 people there inching upward. Suddenly, with a whoosh amidst chaotic energy, a person leapt over their heads. Among the 4 or 5 people, one was startled, their energy leaked, and they slid halfway down, landing with a curse. The remaining 3 or 4 hurriedly steadied themselves. All minds were in turmoil. "Leaping up is also possible," said one disciple. Standing on the solid wall, the endless pressure is like eastern flowing water, pressing down continuously. Even moving an inch is difficult. "Did we choose the wrong method? Should we leap up from the start?" said another disciple. Chapter 956-720. Beyond the snowfield lies Yidu-4. Leap up, you think it's easy. Who among us hasn't tried? Under the pressure of this world, who can leap up 3 zhangs high? "But this person can leap 10 zhangs, said a disciple. "I'll give it a try too." His hand left the stone wall, both feet pressed against the jack, slightly flexed and suddenly leapt up, barely leaping 1 zhang high. With a scream he fell to the ground, leg bones completely shattered, howling in pain there. Everyone was utterly stunned. The 2 disciples at the entrance looked at each other. The facts proved it wasn't a problem of method, but a matter of individual ability. As the saying goes, for those who find it difficult, they cannot do it. For those who can do it, it's not difficult. Lin Zaiasu leaped effortlessly, easily reaching the first level of stairs, but it didn't mean others could achieve the same result by doing the same as him. On the first level, an elder opened his eyes with a look of delight. Leaping up to the platform, what extraordinary foundation lies beneath? Not bad. Young man, who is your master? Lin Zaiasu smiled slightly. It seems that coming to this 9 Extremes platform doesn't require one to reveal their master's lineage. Why does the senior ask? The elder said, "While indeed you don't need to announce your name or lineage upon ascending the platform, if you enter the snowfield, registering your name and origin is required." "I won't enter the snowfield, I'm just ascending the platform," Lin Zaiasu said. "Not entering the snowfield, just ascending the platform. For what reason?" "To admire the scenery." Lin Zaiasu moved his foot, soared into the sky, tracing an arc in the air, passing through a height of 10 jang and landed on the second level of stairs. The elder on the first level's face changed. From the first to the second level stairs, he still leaped up effortlessly, demonstrating truly uncommon potential. The elder on the second level had just opened his eyes. Swoosh! Lin Zaiasu leaped again, reaching the third level. Now, not only was the elder on the third level astonished, but also a senior on the highest tower in Yidu City suddenly opened his eyes wide. His surrounding disciples stared at the 9 Extremes platform in shock. Master, he's leaped up 3 consecutive levels. Even though the pressure of the lower 3 levels is not high, leaping up is completely different from step-by-step ascent. This young man, although he may not reach the 5th level, should definitely become an inner sect disciple. He might even become an elite. This person appears refined and cultured, yet he has such a solid foundation in cultivation. Truly, the disciple's voice cut off. Because right before his eyes, Lin Zaiasu leaped again. Leaping up, standing on the 4th level. Whoosh! The elder on the highest tower stood up suddenly. He was an elder of the snowfield, stationed long-term in Yidu, mainly responsible for discovering promising talents. After hundreds of years stationed, he often lamented that the might of the 19 celestial beams was too overwhelming, resulting in those coming to the snowfield to mostly be mediocre, lacking a proper talent for ages. Yet today, a young man capable of leaping 4 levels appeared. On the 9 Extremes platform, each level's pressure is twice that of the previous. If the first level is considered normal for a cultivator, leaping to the 4th level is equivalent to 16 times a normal person's ability. This is a true elite standard. Just as he stood up, Lin Zaiasu broke through the air again on the 4th level. Steadily landed on the 5th level platform, equivalent to 32 times a normal person's ability. His eyes brightened, a communication talisman appeared in his hand. Old 7, a good seedling, absolutely a good seedling, take a look at the 5th level platform below. On the 6th level platform above, another elder's eyes suddenly brightened, stepping to the platform's edge. Whoosh! A figure shot up into the air, landing before him. This was a handsome young face, bone age barely in his 20s, causing the elder known as Old 7's heart to race. Here was already the 6th level platform, a pressure equivalent to 64 times a normal standard. Those who ascended here are all heavenly pride, yet he came up by leaping. Young master, I am, the snowfield 7th elder. 7th elder beamed with a smile, utmost friendliness. Greetings, elder, Lin Zaiasu bowed slightly. I'm a top elder of the snowfield. Would the young master be willing to join my tutelage as the 7th personal disciple? Thank you for the elder's kindness, but I'm not here to apprentice, Lin Zaiasu said. Not here to apprentice, not to enter the sect. 7th elder's expression changed slightly. Yes, I'm only ascending the platform to appreciate the unparalleled scenery of the human emperor's enlightenment place. Lin Zaiasu bowed again. Farewell. With a bow, pressing down hard with his foot. With a light rustle, he seemed to break through a solid ice surface, leaping 10 jang up, landing on the 7th level. Chapter 957-721, Ninefold Scenery, Human Tao True Skill. The 7th elder's whole body trembled, his mouth forming an O shape. Meanwhile, on the distant Yidu Tower, that elder was rubbing his eyes desperately. The disciple beside him had his mouth wide open. Master, master, the 7th level, the 7th level. In 3,000 years, the second appearance of a prodigy on the 7th level, a prodigy of the 7th level indeed. The elder tugged at his beard. The sect master is still in seclusion. Will he come out because of this child? Lin Zaiasu, stepping onto the 7th level, was also secretly astonished. Sending this platform, his cultivation was being severely suppressed at the observing heaven level. And his observing heaven, was it just ordinary observing heaven? When he was in the observing heaven realm, he could already step into the enlightenment realm and kill those in the enlightenment realm as easily as killing chickens. In other words, as long as the opponent's combat power has not broken through to the enlightenment of God realm, it's not enough to pressure him. But on this level platform, he felt the pressure. Stronger than the pressure the enlightenment realm gave him that day. Besides freaks like him, who in the world could withstand the pressure of the enlightenment realm in the observing heaven realm? How many people can ascend these 7th level steps? Lin Zaiasu saw one. A person standing at the edge of the steps. Their clothes were torn and tattered, but very clean. As the strong wind blew, Their hair fluttered. A pair of eyes as bright as sword-light quietly watched him. "Little brother, where do you come from?" A voice came over, very gentle. Lin Zaiasu's gaze fell on the person's neck, where there was a peculiar necklace with 9 small heads in various colors: snow white, pitch black, purple, and bright red like blood. Demonic chi intertwined. Extremely extraordinary. "From Desert City," Lin Zaiasu replied. "Your honorable surname?" "Surname Su," Lin Zaiasu answered. "And who might you be, senior?" "No need to call me senior if you don't mind. How about calling me Brother Dong? I am Dong Sankyu." "Dong Sankyu." Lin Zaiasu smiled slightly. "In the Yidu down below, I have heard of Brother Dong's legend as the first person in 3,000 years to step onto the 7th level steps. I did not intend to make it public that day, just couldn't help it," Dong Sankyu said. "And why did Brother Su climb the 7th level steps?" "I merely wished to behold the unparalleled scenery of the human emperor's enlightenment place from back then." "If Brother Su wishes to see the scenery of the human emperor's enlightenment place, please come this way, over here. You'll find the view you desire," Dong Sankyu said. Lin Zaiasu followed him to the place where he had just been sitting and viewing the scenery, and as he looked down, his heart leaped. Normally, looking down from a height over mountains and rivers, one would have seen endless starry landscapes, but the snowfield scene below stirred his heart. The mountains, rivers, and roads resembled a naturally formed Kaienkan 8 diagram. Each line carried unparalleled mystical mechanism. Dong Sankyu's voice came to his ears. "Brother Su, with your heart for the world seeing this human Tao true skill, others may see it as merely mountains, rivers, and streams, yet you perceive a different kind of enlightenment, do you not?" Lin Zaiasu was suddenly shocked, his gaze turning to Dong Sankyu. With a light clasp of his hands, Dong Sankyu stated, "Let us greet again. As a humble recluse of the wild, Dong Sankyu, I meet Marquis Zui, Mr. Su." Lin Zaiasu asked, "Brother Dong, you know me?" Dong Sankyu replied, "In the past, my Dong clan was oppressed by the demon sect and the disciples scattered. I had a dear sister who fled to Jiangnan, settled, and laid roots. Last year, she sent me a message saying that the land of Jiangnan was peaceful and the descendants were safe and prosperous, all thanks to Marquis Zui. She sent your portrait with her letter, and I understood her intent. She hoped I could come out of seclusion and assist you, but when I ventured into the snowfield back then, I promised my master that aside from vanquishing the demon sect, I would not get involved in worldly affairs, thus failing my sister's wish. Marquis, your arrival here today must be fate." Lin Zaiasu's heart was full of emotion. Going to Jiangnan was merely a move to increase his bargaining chips. Yet when water is thrown on the wall, it leaves traces. This trip to Jiangnan, he stirred up the interests of many, but also brought benefits to more people. Many foreign powers hated him to death. However, many commoners thanked him. For example, this sister of Dong Sankyu's, who according to age, may well be a few hundred years old, and he did not even know which state or province she was in, but she still gave him a reward he was entirely unaware of. "The heads on Brother Dong's neck, are they all from the demon sect?" Lin Zaiasu asked. "Yes. In my view, each one is in the state of holding." "Yes," Dong Sankyu said. "However, the ultimate path of revenge for me is still far away, so I can only spend thousands of years honing myself here in the human emperor's enlightenment place. Brother Su, do you not wish to seclude yourself here?" "I do not wish to deceive Brother Dong. I ascended this platform indeed for the human Tao true skill, but on this 7th level, I still cannot glimpse the full scope of the human Tao true skill. I want to ascend one more level." Dong Sankyu's expression slightly changed. "Brother Su, the 7th level allows one to glimpse the true skill. It is the rule of the human emperor. Although you cannot see the full picture here, it is ultimately a great opportunity. Almost all of the world's top experts wish to glimpse the true skill here. Do you know why no one has the intent to ascend one more level?" "Why?" "It's only because the 8th level compared to the 7th level is as a chasm. The pressure increases tenfold. If you cannot withstand it, you can't climb back once you fall off the 9 extremes platform," Dong Sankyu said. "Therefore, in my humble opinion, you might first want to seclude yourself here and ponder what you see at this level, and then decide whether it's worth the risk to ascend." "I appreciate Brother Dong's kindness, but I have made up my mind," Lin Zaiasu said. "Farewell, Brother Dong, I shall take my leave." He slowly bowed his waist. At that moment, all his true yuan gathered completely. Chapter 958-721, Splendor of the 9 Extremes. human Tao true skill, too. He felt the pressure coming from above. This pressure was truly like a mountain crashing down with a tidal wave. Above the 8th level, the outside world is not visible. Even standing on the 7th level, you cannot see the 8th level, simply because dense fog blocks it all year round. No matter the cultivation, it cannot be seen through. "Brother Su," Dong Sankyu softly called. Bang! With a slight shock, Lin Zaiasu suddenly leapt up. His figure then disappeared into the dense fog. Dong Sankyu's expression truly changed. He was the first person in 3,000 years to step onto the 7th platform. No one knows better than he the terror of the 8th level. With his incredibly solid foundation and unwavering perseverance, he had arduously cultivated on this platform for 300 years, tempering himself with the immense pressure of heaven and earth time and time again, yet he still dared not challenge the 8th platform. If he failed, he would lose the qualification to ever again ascend the 9 Extremes platform. Cultivation on the 9 Extremes platform was the best place for him, and he didn't want to lose such an undisturbed spot for the ultimate tempering of his foundation. But this Marquis Zui directly challenged it. He didn't know the outcome of this challenge. Because whether success or failure, the result would not be presented to him. If successful, a great miracle was created, yet no one would know. If failed, being cast down from the 9 Extremes platform to the snowfield, no one would know which corner of the snowfield one would fall into. As for Lin Zaiasu in midair, his heart was about to burst. He truly felt the limits of his body. He utilized all his foundation. He tapped into all his potential. With this leap into the void breaking through the fog below, he glimpsed the scenery of the 8th level, yet the overwhelming pressure from above, like the sky collapsing, transformed into an angry wave, ready to smash him down. The highest point he reached was still 3 feet away from the 8th step. Mere 3 feet, he could no longer muster the strength to leap up. However, Lin Zaiasu's hand suddenly shot out and slapped against the stone wall in front of him. With that slap, he borrowed strength to rise. The thick fog below was swept away. The dense mist around him completely cleared. He saw the mountains and rivers stretching below, still not the full view like the Kaienkan 8 diagram, but much clearer and more complete compared to the 7th level. Lin Zaiasu lifted his gaze, looking above. There was still 1 step above. Just 1 step, like a heavenly ladder. To fight or not to fight? In truth, it's not a question. He came to the 9 Extremes platform, not just to enjoy the view, not to challenge his potential, but to carry out a clear task. He needed to see the complete profile of the human Tao true skill. He wanted his kindling lamp to truly interpret the square inch. Enlightenment from fragments contained too many variables. Only the truly complete human Tao true skill could ensure his kindling lamp illuminated the path forward for the human clan. Lin Zaiasu sat on the 8th platform, meditating to adjust his breath. An hour later, he slowly stood up. Took a step forward. This step like bearing a mountain on his back. The pressure, compared to the previous level, increased not by 10-fold but by dozens or even 100-fold. Under such pressure, even with great abilities, he couldn't leap up an inch again. He could only shoulder the mountain-like weight, measuring this heavenly ladder step by step with his feet. Every step was a chasm. Behind was a bottomless abyss. The sky is endless, the road is endless, layers of pressure also endlessly accumulate. Unbeknownst to him, his forehead was covered in sweat, his body like a taut steel rope, exerting force in every inch of flesh and every nerve. He seemed to be forcefully struck down from the Edler's combat power, losing all cultivation, becoming an ordinary person, shouldering hundreds of pounds of pressure, climbing an insurmountable mountain. The sweat that hadn't been shed in a long time poured out. The fatigue he hadn't felt in a long time permeated his entire being. Sweat soaked the white stones beneath his feet, gazing at the mountain top, still unattainable. This, can it really be reached? At this point, retreating would not count as being struck down. Back on the 8th level, he could probably still comprehend the human Tao true skill. Those top experts in the world who comprehend the human Tao true skill, most of them are on the 7th level. I am on the 8th level, still 1 step higher than them. Is it necessary to risk bones breaking and ending up with nothing for the so-called 9th level where no hope can be seen? As this thought rose in his heart for a moment, he really felt like giving up. But recalling the journey thus far, recalling in those hardest and most difficult years, the selflessness of the predecessors, looking forward to the great catastrophe 2 years from now, imagining the various possibilities that might face his relatives in that catastrophe. He took a deep breath, determined. The thought became incomparably firm at that moment. His sword hard at this moment, extraordinarily clear. His steps became steady once again. Step by step forward, not concerning whether the overwhelming pressure might cause permanent harm to the body. There was only one goal, even if all cultivation is exhausted and the physical body destroyed. He'd crawl if necessary. Time flowed by, he didn't feel it. What he stepped on beneath, he didn't care. As he advanced step by step, even if the road ahead always seemed hopeless, he eternally kept moving forward step by step. He seemed to hear the rumble of artillery in his ears. In front of his eyes, the long march appeared to unfold. The group wearing tattered military uniforms seemed to emerge from the long river of history, accompanying him on a difficult trek. "Comrade, what's your name?" "Linzayasu, and you?" "Litian, I come from northeast Hubei. Where are you from?" "I also come from northeast Hubei, but from the New Daxia's northeast Hubei." "New Daxia, we won. We defeated the little devils and established New Daxia." "Yes. What is the New Daxia like?" "Peace and prosperity as you wished." "What about the future of Daxia? How would it be?" "Do not worry, senior. We have taken up your steel spears and tread the path you once walked. The future of Daxia will surely have its mountains and rivers intact, just as you and I desire." Each heroic soul, transcending time and space in conversation, each figure fading away with a contented smile, each segment describing a future vision. The mountains are mighty, but no match for the conviction in one's heart. The path is long, but no longer than the longing etched in one's soul. On the 7th level, Dong Sankyu quietly gazes at the 8th level. Clouds and fog swirl above, obscuring everything from sight, yet his heart is tumultuous. He bears deep-seated vengeance, professes a heart as firm as steel, trapped here for 3 centuries without daring to move a step. Is this the difference between him and Marquis Zui? Perhaps it's time to challenge myself. Let's see where my limits truly lie. Suddenly, his gaze dropped. On the 3rd platform below, someone appeared out of thin air. In the blink of an eye, this person appeared on the 4th platform, yet he couldn't discern how this person ascended. Another instant, the 5th platform, the 6th platform. Silently, a silhouette emerged before him. This person, donned in gray attire, appeared to be in their 40s or 50s, but their eyes carried the aura of great transcendence, seemingly beyond the wear and tear of the world. "You are," Dong Sankyu could only utter 2 words. The person before him raised their gaze, and Dong Sankyu suddenly felt the sea of reincarnation was under intense suppression, his heart violently shaking. This place is the 9 Extremes platform. No matter who comes here, their cultivation is suppressed to the observing heaven level. Theoretically, no matter who arrives here, Dong Sankyu has no fear. However, the person in front altered this iron rule, capable of suppressing his sea of reincarnation. "That boy named Su went up," the newcomer asked. "Who are you, sir? Why are you looking for Marquis Zui?" Dong Sankyu took a deep breath and spoke solemnly. "If I say I wish to extract his tendons, peel his skin, how would you react?" the newcomer replied. Dong Sankyu slowly stood upright. "Then I can only tell you, the 9 Extremes platform does not welcome you, please leave." Whoosh! The newcomer lightly waved their sleeve. Just a wave of the sleeve, and the 7th platform seemed to surge like giant waves, pushing Dong Sankyu back 10 feet to the edge of the platform, his heart shaking violently. "How is this possible? On the 9 Extremes platform, I am supposed to be invincible, even if the 3 executors come here. They should be at my mercy. Why is this happening? Not bad. Able to withstand my strike without falling from the high platform, indeed worthy of an outstanding person." Boom! A palm traversed all space, as if appearing from nothing, striking Dong Sankyu's chest, rendering him helpless, and fell from the high platform. The person raised their eyes, looking at the 8th level above. With a move, they also entered the clouds above. In a moment they stood on the 8th platform, casting their eyes around, finally stirred. "The 8th level is empty. This boy is quite interesting." The disturbance below did not disrupt Lin Zaiasu. He finally arrived at the highest point, the 9th platform just within reach. Yet the last step was so mysterious. The pressure fully materialized. The space above appeared empty, yet was like a transparent solid ice. All around, demons danced chaotically, Thousands of ghosts clawed at his feet, cries and wails filled his ears. Under this pressure, his ribs seemed broken one by one. With all the noise, enough to distract anyone's mind. The slightest lapse would lead to eternal damnation. However, Lin Zaiyasu lifted his gaze, his sword heart like a sword piercing the sky. Break. With a roar earth-shattering. He took one step forward, broke through infinite barriers, firmly stood upon the ninth extreme high platform. With this stride, all pressure vanished. All cries and wails ceased completely. The sky's clouds were exceptionally high and distant. The azure sky stretched boundlessly. He lowered his gaze, seeing beneath him. Yet it was clear in sight, the path beneath vividly visible. This high peak in true form revealed itself to be a vast snow-white turtle, upon whose head he stood. The turtle's back was the vast snowfield. Upon the snowfield, mountains and rivers, all were the turtle patterns on the snow turtle's back. The entire snow turtle was exposed in full. The patterns on the snow turtle's back were without omission. Each pattern carried the mystical mechanism of the great Tao. Together, it held boundless utility. Lin Zaiyasu calmed his mind, sat cross-legged, eyes on the vast snowfield, comprehending the human Tao true skill left by Emperor Zin. The true skill of the human path is not hidden within secret chambers, but always in the sunlight. Only at the nine extremes platform can one glimpse its entirety, a matter of perspective dictating direction, or perhaps it's Emperor Zin's painstaking intention. Only those truly comparable to him in timeless brilliance have the qualification to hold the human Tao true skill, to perform the square-inch heavenly Tao. Time passed day by day. In the blink of an eye, 7 days and 7 nights elapse. This night deep into midnight. On desolate city Vermilion Bird Street, dark clouds cover the sky, spring rain is imminent. A butterfly flutters into Prince Yun Mansion. 7th Prince Yun sat in Jinyun Pavilion, surrounded by 7 hidden dragons, lurking in various corners. This was arranged by Your Majesty for the princes. Prince Jai perished in Jiju, and Your Majesty is no fool, already aware of danger, hence breaking ancestral precedent, deploying hidden dragons to protect each prince. Prince Yun, as the newly bestowed prince with battlefield merits in hand, is currently the most suitable heir in the Eastern Palace. His hidden dragon specifications are also at the highest, with 1 holding the way and 6 enlightenment rules. Chapter 960, Chapter 721, The Splendor of the Nine Extremes, Human Tao True Skill 4. Each person is an absolute expert in their respective domain. However, no one noticed this butterfly. Spring is warm, flowers are blooming, butterflies fluttering. Who would care? Who would have thought this butterfly would fly 3 feet behind Prince Yun and suddenly explode? With this explosion, the entire Prince Mansion was engulfed in smoke and dust. The hidden dragon of holding the way leapt up, his figure suddenly stiffening, and fell down with a thud, just like any ordinary person. Prince Yun's face showed extreme terror, the cup in his hand slipping and falling, yet before the cup reached the ground, his flesh was gone, turned into bones. Bang! The cup shattered, cracks appeared on the bones. The wind blew, carrying a layer of white ash from the cracks into the air. Gradually, as the white ash was blown away, Prince Yun in Jinyun Pavilion was reduced to nothing but a set of the prince's royal robe, and about 7 or 8 sets of palace-maid uniform. Ah! A maid in the rear courtyard screamed sharply, her voice abruptly cut off, as her skin and flesh also disintegrated. Deep within the palace, Your Majesty rose swiftly, a roar of fury shaking the depths of the palace. Countless ministers flew into the depths of the palace. Your Majesty stood in Wenling Hall, his face completely hidden in darkness. Your Majesty, this must be the handiwork of Wandu sect, Lei Tianlun, the Zhen Heaven Pavilion Master, stated. Daring to poison a prince in the desert city, they are utterly reckless and lawless. Song Lifu was also enraged beyond measure. Indeed, Wandu sect dares to commit such vile acts. It is an archenemy of the dynasty. A counterattack must be launched against Wandu sect immediately. Where is Marquis Zui? Your Majesty asked in a deep voice. Marquis Zui left the desert city 10 days ago, his whereabouts unknown, Lei Tianlun responded. Your Majesty's gaze slowly directed towards a corner below, Lin Aching. Everyone turned their eyes simultaneously towards that place. That place was slightly darker compared to other places. A person emerged from the darkness. It was Lin Huayang, the Imperial Silver Envoy. Your Majesty, Lin Huayang bowed and said, I do not quite agree with the opinions of the respective lords." As these words were spoken, the crowd was shocked. Not agreeable to the evaluation of Wandu sect. Is this matter tolerant of your disagreement? Wandu sect first killed Prince Jai, then Prince Yun, so lawlessly and angering the heavenly people. Dare you not agree? Isn't that asking for death? The ministers all expressed anger. "Speak out," your majesty said in a deep voice. Lin Huayang said, "All the lords believe Wandu sect is the real culprit, that we should directly point the finger at them. I do not deny that Wandu sect deserves destruction, but I ask all the lords to think carefully. Is it really only Wandu sect involved in the plotting?" "Mr. Lin, what do you mean?" Lei Tianlun asked. Lin Huayang said, "Esteemed lords, the perpetrator is surely Wandu sect. The attack is indeed revenge for the Heavenly Suppression Army's annihilation of the Kaiyan-Du sect banner. But starting with the killing of King Lanning, then Prince Jai, followed by Prince Yun, how can it be that simple? There are indications that this series of killings was in response to the Eastern Palace deployment by the mental path." Everyone was greatly shaken. Yes, indeed. If it were just a revenge act by Wandu sect, why did they make such precise selections? Wandu sect has no tradition of controlling the court. Mental path does. In fact, Wandu sect is not suitable for controlling the court. They practice poison as a way, and in the hearts of the common people, poison is feared. Such a force is actually not suitable to control the court, but only to pose a threat. And the mental path. Their usual approach is to control the court, using any means necessary. These two top forces already showed signs of alliance during the meeting in Lanzhou. The specific evidence is, Wandu sect fabricated the rumor, the emperor has lost moral integrity and needs to abdicate to a wise one. And when the rumor spread throughout Lanzhou city, Lin Huayang personally went to Lanzhou and had already uncovered a large number of people who helped fan the flames, confirming they were people from the mental path. This shows that Wandu sect and mental path have formed an alliance within the great wilderness. And their move to kill the three princes, each one being the closest to the Eastern Palace before their death. How can such coincidences be? "Continue speaking," said your majesty in a deep voice. Lin Huayang said, "Your majesty, since we know the incident of killing the three princes is a conspiracy between the mental path and Wandu sect, we must not fall into the trap of retaliation against Wandu sect, because the headquarters of Wandu sect is far in the central domain, and there is no point of revenge available in the mortal world. Instead of futile retaliation, we should change our approach and deliver a fatal blow to this accomplice first." Chapter 961, Chapter 722, Lin Huayang's poisonous scheme throws the Jianghu into chaos. "Targeting the heart gate?" Lei Tianlun asked. "Yes, the heart gate has always feared the world's peace, so let's cause chaos in the cultivation path. Once the heart gate's secrets are fully exposed, it will be overwhelmed, and what power will it have to support the Wandu sect? Without the heart gate's backing, the Wandu sect is like a blind and lame poison dragon, greatly reducing its threat." The crowd was stirred. This was Lin Huayang's strategy. Do not fall into the opponent's trap. You attack as you please, I attack as I please, a strike that appears off but is actually the main move. Because countering the Wandu sect by the Great Wilderness Dynasty is simply not feasible, you really can't counter it. The sect is far located outside the domain. The mortal world doesn't even have a pivotal point for you to counteract. This is the genuine reason for the Wandu sect's rampant behavior, causing headaches for everyone. And also the reason for the Wandu sect's recklessness. Yet Lin Huayang devised a new path. "I don't target the Wandu sect, I target your allies." If the heart gate is eradicated, the Wandu sect's lack of foothold in the mortal realm becomes exposed. With no pivot, no grip, it is just a poison dragon perched on Kishan, greatly limited in its ability to stir trouble in the human world. Targeting the heart gate, is your strategy still akin to last time's plan across 4 nations? Inquired your majesty. Indeed, Lin Huayang replied. This announcement will differ slightly. Your majesty may have to make an ultimate sacrifice. Your majesty slowly said, to disseminate comprehensively under the imperial family's name. Exactly, Lin Huayang confirmed. This action bears both advantages and disadvantages, but upon comprehensive analysis by my humble self, the advantages far outweigh the disadvantages. Tell me where lies the greatest advantage, your majesty asked. The heart of the ministers skipped a beat. As a dynasty, it is indeed inconvenient to intervene in the cultivation path, for once you do, you unwittingly provoke some top-tier sects whose methods are extraordinary. Seemingly, every sect can easily render a dynasty fretful. Thus, Lin Huayang early proposed releasing the Heart Gate's confidential information to disrupt the cultivation path, but it wasn't widely accepted. Even the four nations already at war with the Dahuang country did not directly issue their opponents' scandals through the imperial family. It was anonymously published in the opponent's capital to avoid blame. Kang Yuan, Lin Huayang asserted, Your Majesty, esteemed ministers, ought to believe that clearing the Heart Gate is in harmony with Kang Yuan's aspirations. If our dynasty takes the lead, surely we'll gain Kang Yuan's favor. The entire hall. Everyone's hearts raced wildly. In tumultuous times, sects abound seemingly like precarious strongholds in the tides of the era. As for safety, none can assure absolute safety. Yet there exists a force superior to all sects. That force is Kang Yuan. Your Majesty took a deep breath. Are you certain, Lin Huayang, the Heart Tao truly holds a grand scheme to liaise across sects, counterbalance Kang Yuan? Your Majesty, apart from the clues at my disposal, linking decisively to this direction, common sense also dictates that this matter is undeniably solid, Lin Huayang responded. Your Majesty fell silent. As the venerable emperor, none understands better than he the basic rules in the horizontal and vertical contest among grand forces. When one force is lofty, while another colludes from all corners, such a supreme force surely hopes that colluding force is eradicated. Thus does an emperor, so does Kang Yuan. Your Majesty's silence signified acknowledgement. Lin Huayang's heart raced rapidly. Upon entering this realm, everyone harbors their own goals. Lin Ziyasu's goal differs absolutely from his, yet on some levels they are shared. As long as this step is taken, the Heart Tao Heart Gate will suffer a devastating blow. He disregards the Wandu sect. He always only minds the Heart Gate. To deal with the Heart Tao Heart Gate, Lin Huayang alone with two hands can do nothing, but with the dynasty's endorsement, sects as chess pieces, Kang Yuan as the fallback, he, Lin Huayang, can carve his grand chessboard in this vast world. What you've offered, Minister, is indeed the words of a patriotic national. I approve. Your Majesty rose tall. Upon this approval, the great wilderness dynasty stirred the ancient world into turmoil, a breathtaking storm that swept across the 19 celestial beams. At Kishan Peak of the 19 celestial beams, on the pitch-black giant tree, amidst the emerald leaves, ripples arose in the dew. The Wandu sect Lord Li Xinyu had received the elder's message. Last night, the plan to assassinate the seventh prince succeeded spectacularly. Her hand gently brushed, calming the dew to serenity. She lifted her gaze, smiled slightly at the person opposite. The facts prove the great elder overthought. The great elder across bowed. Indeed, the Lord seized sharply, showcasing the disciple Chang Yi with no issues. Yes, it was he who intentionally leaked the assassination plan of the seventh prince to Chang Yi, testing Chang Yi's reaction among elders who accompanied Chang Yi down the mountain. For although Chang Yi hailed from the great Xia realm, no matter how staunchly loyal he presented, these old foxes perceived him as unreliable. Thus, such a test was arranged during Chang Yi's maiden descent. All are aware of Marquis Zui Su Lin being the Wandu sect's sworn foe, and with Su Lin's friendship with the seventh prince, if Chang Yi held any scheme against the great wilderness dynasty, he would inevitably execute through the seventh prince. Watching the prince's demise was not possible. And if Chang Yi harbored retribution against the Wandu sect, he would inevitably sabotage this action, even collaborating with Su Lin. Indeed, she had visited Su Lin's Zui Marquis mansion and conversed with Su Lin. Nonetheless, after the exchange, the elder's action to assassinate the seventh prince proceeded seamlessly, never activating alternative measures. Chapter 962, Chapter 722, Lin Huayang's poisonous plot throws Jianghu into chaos, Part 2. What does this signify? It signifies that she did not leak the secret mission. It also proves, on the contrary, that Chang Yi is still trustworthy, at least for now. She hasn't taken any rebellious actions. The clouds moved in the sky and a figure soared through the air, landing before Lord Li Xinyu. Chang Yi has returned, requesting to see Master. Let her in, Lord's eyes sparkled. With a swish, a black-clad figure appeared, landing in front of the Lord. It was Chang Yi who had returned from Desert City. Master, Chang Yi bowed in greeting. Chang Yi, report the situation from this trip. Yes, Master, Chang Yi said. During this trip to Desert City, I approached Marquis Zui under the guise of a talented woman, and we had a delightful conversation. He did not hide his origins. He told me he came from Kangyuan, but I did not fully trust him. However, he mentioned one thing which, if verified, will clarify his identity. What is it? The Lord and Great Elder's eyes simultaneously focused on her face. He said that shortly, he will return to Kangyuan with Kangyuan Liui. If Kangyuan Liui does appear and he truly enters Kangyuan with Liui, then his origin from Kangyuan would be undeniable. The Great Elder slowly nodded. If Kangyuan Liui really takes him into Kangyuan, what disputes could arise about his identity? Chang Yi, your idea is, pay attention to Kangyuan Liui's movements. Yes, if Kangyuan Liui appears in Dahuang country, it will undoubtedly cause a sensation, and gathering intelligence on this won't be difficult. The Lord nodded. Very well, then wait for Kangyuan's movements. How about the other matter? How's the investigation? The other matter involves the sudden insanity of Kaiyan-Du Island Saint Lord, and the event where Zhai Xing Tower used the Qingyan furnace to kill the Lanzhou officialdom and King Lanning. The Wandu sect higher-ups suspect Su Lin's involvement in this matter. Chang Yi said, to investigate this, I traveled to Lanzhou. The findings were shocking. There are signs indicating that Kaiyan-Du Island Saint Lord Li Su was not insane that day, but someone controlled his sea of consciousness and spirit platform, meaning the real culprits who killed King Lanning and the Lanzhou officials weren't Li Su. Li Su was merely the scapegoat pushed forward. The Lord and Great Elder were simultaneously shocked. Was it truly Su Lin's doing? No, Master. After verifying it was Su Lin but Heart Sect Elder Ding Kei. The Lord's eyebrows furrowed suddenly. The Great Elder's face changed slightly. Ding Kei, the concubine of King Lanning. It turns out the Great Elder is also aware of her. Ding Kei, originally a Heart Sect Elder, entered the Lanning royal mansion as a singer, becoming King Lanning's concubine. She was originally monitoring King Lanning and controlling the Lanzhou officialdom through him. The Great Elder said, I'm aware of this person, but why would she borrow Kaiyan-Du Island Saint Lord's hand to kill King Lanning, destroying her painstakingly built foundation? Chang Yi said, because King Lanning has already been exposed. The Lanzhou officialdom has already been exposed. An exposed King Lanning is unlikely to enter the Eastern Palace. He is destined to be a worthless piece. The only difference is whether he's destroyed by Su Lin or by Ding Kei herself. If he's captured by Su Lin will undoubtedly use interrogation techniques to extract all of King Lanning's secrets, and Ding Kei would be doomed. But if Ding Kei directly takes action and kills him, she avoids future troubles. Weighing two evils, she naturally chooses the lesser threat. The Great Elder took a deep breath. If he really has been exposed, then based on the Heart Sect member's style, it's indeed possible to kill to silence others. How can you be sure King Lanning has already been exposed? Great Elder, why not see the essence through the phenomenon? Chang Yi said. Before Su Lin went to Jiangnan, he dispatched his trusted aide Qing Ying to disguise herself and enter the Lanning royal mansion. For what purpose? In this trip to Lanzhou, he personally entered the Lanning royal mansion, and every word he said I have collected. Through these words, the Great Elder can see that Su Lin has definitely discovered the connection between King Lanning and the Heart Sect in collusion. Even if King Lanning himself does not realize it, Ding Kei has definitely realized it. She extended her hand, showing records of every word Su Lin spoke upon entering the mansion. The Lord's heart was already stirred. Even before going to Jiangnan, he had dispatched his trusted aide disguised to enter the Lanning royal mansion. As long as this is verified, it clearly shows Su Lin suspected King Lanning long ago. Verifying this would be too easy. And those dialogues were full of implication. When Su Lin first met King Lanning, he praised, the prince's fame is known even in the great wilderness. Today, entering Lanzhou, I feel this virtue is not exaggerated. Is this genuine? If you truly find him virtuous, would you have sent people to the mansion 3 months in advance to gather evidence of wrongdoing? Subsequently, a tense atmosphere emerged, for instance, when King Lanning declared, the Kaiyan-Du sect wishes to occupy all of Lanzhou. This king does not agree. How did Su Lin respond? He said, Lanzhou originally had a population of 120 million, now only 70 million remain. Did you agree to let 50 million innocent citizens die? This is not something a marquis should say to a prince. This is a direct sarcasm. This is already the prelude to the grand confrontation. As King Lanning's concubine, as Heart Sect Elder, can she not sense the imminent crisis, the impending grand confrontation? This disciple indeed surprised her. Previously, it was only thought her constitution was special, being the 1 in a million innate poison body. But now, suddenly, it is realized this disciple harbors massive schemes. Her thinking is exceedingly precise. Her meticulous handling, regardless of the disciple level, even at the elder level, might not surpass. Who would have thought she could record every word Su Lin said upon entering the mansion? Chapter 963. Chapter 722. Lin Weiyang's poisonous scheme throws the Jianghu into chaos, Part 3. What talent? This is the type of talent the sect truly needs. The great elder took a long breath. Perhaps Ding Kei has really discovered that the plan was compromised and is considering killing to silence others. But why must she borrow the hand of the Kaiyan Island Saint Lord? Great elder, do not forget she is from the Heart Sect. This action fits the Heart Sect's interests most, Chang Yi said. What do you mean? Chang Yi replied, Great elder, consider. She used the body of the Kaiyan Island Saint Lord to execute a matter that could shock the entire court. Wouldn't the Great Wilderness Dynasty fully retaliate against our sect? Currently, the Heart Sect is under pressure from the Great Wilderness Dynasty. By forcing our sect into a duel with the Great Wilderness Dynasty, the Heart Sect's pressure would significantly diminish. Isn't that a beneficial move? The Great Elder was stunned. The Lord suddenly felt enlightened. At first, everyone thought the Kaiyan Island Saint Lord couldn't be controlled by the Heart Sect because King Lanning is on their side. If controlled by the Heart Sect, how could he cut off his own limbs? But Chang Yi addressed this loophole. The unexposed King Lanning is their backed candidate for the Eastern Palace. Yet the exposed King Lanning entering the Eastern Palace would be a dream and would also bring trouble upon himself. Why wouldn't they kill him? By killing King Lanning, the guilt is handed to Kaiyan sect, triggering chaos between the Great Wilderness Dynasty and Wandu sect, thereby easing the Heart Sect's pressure, allowing them to restructure their plan. This is the familiar Heart Sect. Their calculations always prioritize themselves. Today's allies are merely their pawns. The Great Elder slowly opened his eyes. There's still one doubt, the final doubt. If all of this is orchestrated by Ding Kei, why would she also die? Because implicating our sect is extraordinary, and the Heart Sect wouldn't dare let our sect discover it. Thus, while controlling the Kaiyan Island Saint Lord, they secretly killed her to silence her. The Heart Sect killed her to silence her, the Great Elder asked. Great Elder, look. At the Prince Mansion incident, the disciple obtained Ding Kei's autopsy report. She died from a secondary deity kill. Her hand lifted, and a sheet of paper floated in the air. The Lord and the Great Elder's expressions truly changed. This is Ding Kei's autopsy report. She was poisoned. However, due to her profound cultivation, Qingyan Furnace's damage to her wasn't severe. Her true cause of death was a secondary deity kill. A secondary deity's kill is formless and invisible, and cannot be traced. In this era, who could use subdivine skills to kill someone also possessing level 40 subdivine skills? Who could it be? It could only be a Heart Sect elder. Others simply cannot achieve it. Is this how the Heart Sect cooperates with our sect? The Lord shouted solemnly. Chaos swirled around her, obviously showcasing her anger. With a thud, the Great Elder knelt. Lord, my arrangements were mistaken. It is my responsibility. Next, I will personally visit the Heart Pavilion to ask them. Chang Yi said, if the Great Elder asks, Heart Sect will certainly deny it. Apart from breaking relations, it's meaningless. It would be better to consider how to cleanse the infiltration of Heart Sect within our sect. The Lord and Great Elder suddenly raised their heads. Do you think the Heart Sect has infiltrated our sect? Chang Yi bowed. The disciple has no evidence, only hearsay that Heart Sect infiltrates major sects. None are spared from the 19 celestial beams except Kang Yuan. The Lord's expression darkened like water. Such news can be found everywhere. Previously, she paid it little attention. But now the Heart Sect has completely altered its image in her mind. These filthy creatures truly have no bottom line. At moments of need, they sweet-talk, but in the face of even minor crises, they instantly turn ruthless and betray allies faster than flipping a book, their ruthlessness unmatched, even striking their own members. If such a sect infiltrates Wandu sect, it's absolutely no small matter. But Wandu sect is so vast, with millions of disciples, exactly who has been infiltrated? No immortal could uncover it. However, a piece of news suddenly arrived. The Great Wilderness Dynasty, in the name of the imperial family, officially informed all sects worldwide. solemnly releasing the personnel list of heart sect infiltration in major sects. A sheet arrived, detailing those infiltrated within Wandu sect, their specific names, positions, specific incidents, totaling over 100 people, with positions ranging from elite disciple to high-level elders reaching the 17 elders. The Venerable Poison's face suddenly sank. Arrest them. Wandu sect responded similarly, as did the Heavenly Capital, Demon sect, and Xuanwang sect. At the Heart sect headquarters, chaos swirled like flowing light. The Heart sect master turned back before the divine illumination wall, his eternally serene face finally showing a hint of panic. The external turmoil did not affect Lin Zaiasu. He sat atop the Nine Extremes platform for a whole month. When he entered, it was merely early spring. Now it is late spring in full bloom. The spring breeze swept across the snowfield, over Yidu, and reached the Nine Extremes platform, transforming into a thin mist. His eyelids gently fluttered but did not open, yet turmoil brewed within him. Upon his sea of consciousness was inscribed a complete Kainkun 8 diagram under his feet. Of course, this isn't the real Kainkun 8 diagram, it's the Human Tao True Skill. The Human Tao True Skill, he's already researched and comprehended it thoroughly, and can even begin to apply it. For instance, integrating the Heavenly Tao 7 techniques into this diagram. Upon this integration, he suddenly felt a great terror. In the depths, there seemed to be an intuition that once he genuinely integrated the Heavenly Tao 7 techniques into the Human Tao True Skill, he would encounter the most terrifying great event in the world. At this moment, he truly understood why it was said that without entering into the realm, one cannot genuinely implement the Human Tao True Skill. Because truly implementing the Human Tao True Skill is to contend with the Heavenly Tao. The Heavenly Tao does not tolerate it. Currently, his cultivation has not yet entering the realm, merely a tiny ant under the Heavenly Tao. Daring to contend with the Heavenly Tao is a path to death. Chapter 964, Chapter 722, Lin Weiyang's poisonous plot throws Jianghu into chaos Part 4. One must reach Jai San to wield the Human Tao True Skill and contend with the Heavenly Tao, not to be killed at its whim. Even upon reaching Jai San and enacting the Human Tao True Skill, it's still a 9 lives lost out of 10 situation. This was the true reason why Emperor Xin, after a century of reign, wore white robes and entered the snowfield. He understood he was making an enemy of the Heavenly Tao. He knew everyone around him would be subjected to heavenly punishment. He refused to implicate others. He wished to use his own strength to defy destiny for billions of the human clan. Based on this, he left behind the dynasty that he spent his life building, departed from his capital and millions of citizens, and even forsook his 3 millennia companion, the Tianhu ancestor. The abandoned Tianhu ancestor harbored boundless resentment, so much so that in her handwritten Heavenly Fox secret manual, she left a poem that clashed with the principle of cultivation, reciting, "At the top of Jiuji Mountain, the 8-foot wind, southern dynasty road cuts off as river flows east, Ru sea upon the emerald blade, cloud departs and returns differently." Yet she was mistaken. The emperor had not wronged her. His abandonment was indeed her protection. Thinking through this, the thin fog in front of him suddenly opened and closed, forming a peculiar turbulence. Lin Zaiasu slowly opened his eyes. He saw a shadow in the fog. It was an old man with white hair. The old man rode a white turtle, as if drifting from the horizon. "Young man, have you finally understood?" "I have understood. The Human Tao True Skill defies the heavens. If you wish to tread this path, you must ultimately walk alone. This is the paradox of the Human Tao." The old man gently sighed. The core foundation of the human path is sentiment. There is familial and national sentiment, concern over people. However, reaching the realm to wield the Human Tao True Skill requires severing all attachments, to act independently, as those around you will suffer the Heavenly Tao's wrath because of you. Those who wield the Human Tao must sever sentiment. This is the paradox. Lin Zaiasu said, "Old man, you're mistaken. You may seem to demonstrate the noble quality of the Human Tao by sacrificing yourself to save everyone, yet you deviate from the correct path of the Human Tao. The Human Tao has never been a solo act. It is the collective mission of billions." "Am I mistaken? Am I truly mistaken?" The old man gazed up at the sky. "Calling yourself a loner is itself a mistake," Lin Zaiasu said. The human Tao cannot be solitary, and especially for rulers, cannot be lonely. Therefore, in the era I live in, there is no emperor, hence no loner. This era is truly the age of demonstrating the human Tao true skill. No emperor, the old man murmured. Throughout ancient times, the human path has endured hardships, always calling for an extraordinary human emperor to emerge and rescue the common people from hardship. Yet to truly realize eternal prosperity of the human Tao, there must be no emperor. Only then is there true method. Only then is there true method. His voice grew distant and silent. His figure gradually faded away. The spring wind blew past. The last trace of thin fog vanished into the world. Lin Zaiasu slowly rose, gazing at the vast world, at the expansive snowfield, stepping down from the 9 Extremes platform. After 10 steps, he landed on the 8 Extremes platform. On the 8 Extremes platform there was one person, who raised their gaze, quietly watching Lin Zaiasu. Lin Zaiasu was slightly stunned, and also looked at this person. Approximately 40 to 50 years of age, refined and graceful like a scholar, yet his eyes were infinitely transcendent. "Su Lin kid, finally I see you," the refined middle-aged man softly spoke. Lin Zaiasu lightly smiled. "Who are you, elder?" The old man gently raised his hand. A willow leaf descended from the sky, transforming into a mysterious sword image. Lin Zaiasu was stunned. This sword he was so familiar with. Kangyuan Liui. The refined middle-aged man was indeed Kangyuan Liui, descending from Kangyuan. Chapter 965, Chapter 723, Kangyuan Liu. Kangyuan Liu stared at Lin Zaiasu, his eyes unfathomable. "Kid, you disguised as me in the demon domain, and now the cat's out of the bag." Lin Zaiasu laughed. "So, senior, you came here today especially to thank me." "Thank you?" Willow Leaf looked at him as if looking at a lunatic. Lin Zaiasu said, "In the past, the 19 Prince of the Demon Domain publicly declared to lead the Heavenly Demon Army to subdue Kangyuan. Kangyuan's reputation suffered greatly, and this junior couldn't bear to see it. 3 willow leaves quelled 3 heavenly demon armies, and then subdued the Demon King Palace, preserving Kangyuan's fame. Senior's virtue benefits the common people, praised by millions, so your special visit to thank me today seems reasonable." What? Could this junior have guessed wrong? Kangyuan Liu felt a bit numb for a moment. This kid plays completely against the rules, doesn't he? He doesn't even try to defend himself at all. He simply admits it. Not only admits, but even proudly claims to have benefited Willow Leaf. Shameless. Willow Leaf sighed lightly. "I've roamed the world for thousands of years and have never met such a shameless person. I'm too lazy to waste words with you. Speak bluntly. Boy, daring to impersonate me and stir up trouble was once a crime punishable by death without mercy, but today I'm in a good mood and just want to take you up to Kangyuan so you can explain everything before the Elder Council." Lin Zaiasu smiled. "So senior is afraid." Afraid? Kangyuan Liu rolled his eyes, showing signs of losing his composure cultivated over thousands of years. Lin Zaiasu said, "Senior need not fear getting caught in the whirlpool of disputes and facing the Elder Council's criticism. You might as well ask them, what is the purpose of Heart Tao and Mental Path, connecting 18 heavenly beams? Is cutting off the demon claws extending toward the demon sect consistent with the primary mission of the 13 heavenly gang overseeing the world? As long as the Elder Council has no ulterior motives or any connections with Heart Tao, they'll have to admit that this action aligns with Kangyuan's interests, consistent with the principles of the 13 heavenly gang." Kangyuan Liu's heart was churning. If there's anything he regrets in his life, it's perhaps reasoning with this kid. When first meeting this kid, he held morality in hand. No matter who in the world, after being recognized for impersonation, would want to hide in shame, right? But this kid overturns the norms. He really is righteous and outspoken. The most frustrating thing is, his arguments are just right and beyond rebuttal. He gently rolled his eyes. "Let's go, we can discuss it further at the Elder Council." Lin Zaiasu bowed slightly. "Senior, it's not that I'm refusing to go up to Kangyuan, it's just that I have some matters at hand now. I won't accompany you today." Willow Leaf's face darkened. "I said go right now." 8 words filled with incomparable authority, akin to a holy decree. Lin Zaiasu raised his gaze slowly. "Senior, how about a bet?" "A bet?" Kangyuan Liu asked. "Yes." Upon these words, Lin Zaiasu seemed completely transformed. Just a moment ago, he kept calling senior and junior. His demeanor was quite humble, but now he showed no sign of reverence, only calm and composure. "Kid, do you know how many years it's been since anyone dared to act arrogant before me?" Willow Leaf asked. Lin Zaiasu smiled faintly. "Betting with you is that arrogance. Senior, don't you realize saying this is actually arrogance?" "Tell me how to bet," Kang Yuan Liu said coldly. "Just bet that today you can't take me away." "Ha-ha," Kang Yuan Liu laughed, his laughter echoing on the 8th level. Lin Zaiasu said, "If you win, I'll follow your disposal. If you lose, give me at most 1 month's time. I need to handle some matters. Then I will accompany you to Kang Yuan as a guest. Note, as a guest, not a prisoner." Kang Yuan Liu's gaze fell on his face. "Kid, as long as you kneeled and begged me for 1 month initially, perhaps I would have agreed." "Sorry, this junior has never had the habit of begging," Lin Zaiasu replied. "Don't forget the stakes you just made." Kang Yuan Liu's face showed a trace of cruelty. "Once you lose, I'll have total control, and if I order you to crawl into the Elder Council, how will you preserve your pathetic dignity?" "Don't speak of if," Lin Zaiasu replied. "You only need to answer. Dare you accept this bet?" "I accept," Kang Yuan Liu said. Lin Zaiasu smiled. "Very well, today I won't go anywhere, staying here on the 9 Extremes platform. Let's see what kind of mean senior has to take me by force." "Great," Kang Yuan Liu's fingers suddenly opened. One hand covered the sky, the space completely sealed. Even on the 9 Extremes platform, his cultivation was suppressed to observing heaven, but his space law had reached immeasurable depths. Under such suppression, he still had a fragment at his disposal, though just a fragment. How could ordinary people fathom it? Lin Zaiasu's fingers lightly lifted. A red spider lily suddenly appeared at his fingertips. With the appearance of the red spider lily, an endless chasm stretched between him and Kang Yuan Liu. "Other shore flower blooms, reincarnation road. Think you've got some tricks," Willow Leaf said with a cold laugh. "Unfortunately for you, you are facing me breaking realm style." Poof! A soft sound, like the barrier-breaking flower bloom of reincarnation being cut down by a sword transformation, executed through the space swordsmanship, breaking realm style. His finger, like a sword, was a mere hair's breadth from Lin Zaiasu's forehead. Lin Zaiasu's finger gently lifted, halting Kang Yuan Liu's finger in its tracks, while his own finger, quick as flowing light, reached for Kang Yuan Liu's brow. With one move, the attacker became the defender. Chapter 966, Chapter 723, Kang Yuan Liu Part 2. With a soft rumbling sound, a space black hole appeared in the center of Kang Yuan Liu's brows. Lin Zaiasu's fingers entered the void, unable to touch even a fraction of Kang Yuan Liu. Kang Yuan Liu's expression changed slightly. "Time Sword Tao. Don't forget, I also know a little bit of space law." Lin Zaiasu's finger, entering the space between Kang Yuan Liu's brows and seemingly about to be divided by chaotic space currents, suddenly turned. The chaotic space currents layered apart, but could not sever his finger. He even performed his misty rain jiangnan within the space of Kang Yuan Liu's brows. Surprise flashed through Kang Yuan Liu's eyes. One leaf division. With a soft sound, a glint flashed through his eyes, and a willow leaf fluttered up. It was the renowned willow leaf strike. This move had transcended ordinary sparring, considering Lin Zaiasu as an equal opponent. Willow leaf strike, tearing through all the space. The giants of the world, frightened upon hearing. Lin Zaiasu flicked his finger lightly. One leaf division. Also a move of willow leaf strike. In terms of swordsmanship, he could not be compared to Kang Yuan Liu at all. His willow leaf strike's power of tearing through space was equally unmatched by Kang Yuan Liu's. As his willow leaf seemed about to be shredded, his willow leaf strike about to bypass the last defenses and shred Lin Zaiasu to pieces. Suddenly, a strange phenomenon occurred. Two unequal willow leaves collided in the air. A spatial ripple burst between them. The surrounding dense fog transformed into an inexplicable chaotic space current, yet the two, separated by the ripple, stood with their hair flying, completely unharmed. "Sword Heart, you've actually comprehended the Sword Heart." Kang Yuan Liu's face turned extremely grim. This was the reason why 2 levels of Space Sword Tao, entirely unmatched, ultimately formed an evenly matched contest. Lin Zaiasu's Space Willow Leaf bore the blessing of the Sword Heart. "You've attacked thrice, now it's my turn." As Lin Zaiasu's voice fell, his stature suddenly soared in a moment, reaching 10 jang high. Behind him, a lofty peak appeared on top, a Dharma form of himself. "Divine magic," Liu's pupils contracted. Let's see how skilled you are. Though spoken lightly, his demeanor truly tense, as divine magic itself was the most lethal divine skill on the 9 Extremes platform. This treacherous place suppresses cultivation. Heavenly Tao cultivation is entirely suppressed, yet divine magic does not rely on cultivation. It relies on bloodline, making Heavenly Tao suppression far less effective before divine magic. He had almost exhausted his strongest combat power with his 3 previous strikes, failing to defeat Lin Zaiasu. Now as Lin Zaiasu formally countered, he felt a not-so-good omen. Lin Zaiasu's Dharma form turned, chanting melodiously. On the 9 Extremes platform all techniques vanish. I am the peak upon the mountain's summit. A fist struck out. Kang Yuan Liu's hand circled fiercely, completely changing the space before him, forming a space shield, blocking all attacks in the world. But unexpectedly, Lin Zaiasu's fist shattered the chaotic space current into pieces, the massive fist still driving straight at Liu's chest. Liu raised his hand, forming countless space fissures. With a boom, the fist passed through the space fissures, still struck against Kang Yuan Liu's chest. Kang Yuan Liu retreated 10 jang, standing by the edge of a precipice, his face altered. Another punch broke through the chaotic space current, with tenfold increased power. Kang Yuan Liu's whole body tensed. Surely this rascal's punch would actually knock this esteemed self off the 9 Extremes platform. That would be an indelible disgrace, washed away by the waters of the world, all in vain. Yet now, on the 9 Extremes platform, his cultivation and combat power were suppressed almost entirely, while this kid was truly demonstrating what he just claimed. On the 9 Extremes platform all techniques vanish, mountain-high summit. He is the peak. What the heck? For the moment, Kang Yuan Liu, the Kang Yuan giant who had never experienced defeat, felt only MMP in his heart. Whoosh! The fist was suspended before Kang Yuan Liu. Lin Zaiasu said, I apologize, senior. On the 9 Extremes platform, I gained the advantage today. You have no way to take me away. Kang Yuan Liu's face changed like the weather. Their wager stipulated today. As long as this kid didn't strike, he had to leave the 9 Extremes platform. How could he take him away? Once today passed, the bet was lost. As a member of the Kang Yuan 13 Heavenly Gang, should you not act honorably, fulfilling a wager so difficult? Lin Zaiasu sighed. Kang Yuan Liu exhaled deeply. Accept to lose. 1 month later, you will follow me into Kang Yuan. Since consensus has been reached, let not waste this day any further, Lin Zaiasu said. Farewell. He leaped from the 8th platform, through the ring of dense fog, descending toward the ground. As he just leapt, he was still under the suppression of the 9 Extremes platform, unable to fly through the air, seemingly about to fall freely, hit the ground when 3 kai above the ground. He broke free from the platform's suppression. True Yuan surged within. His toes touched the ground gently, landing steadily. Dozens who were climbing the 9 Extremes platform gasped in shock, their breaths caught, while several others who had just made it halfway down slipped with a screech, accompanied by cries of alarm and curses. Lin Zaiasu's gaze lifted, staring at a group of people outside Yidu. They were the demon army, each taller than 10 jang, displaying a bronze sheen, some with hints of silver light, some with hints of purple light, ancient demons. A few months ago, there was talk in Yidu that the demon clan had failed the attempt to break through the pathway outside Fallen God Valley. Demon sect angered, intending to dispatch the group of ancient demon. Ancient demon, not known for heavenly Tao cultivation, flourished most within the domain of all living beings are equal.